Yeah, let's go. I ain't the first with the curse, with the thirst that I wanna be better, not worse, man it hurts. I'm on this earth with my words and I put them all together, insert, cause I wanna have worth. Working hella hard till they put me in the dirt. Gonna go far, man, listen to my words. Gonna be a star, man, life's like a blur. When you're working this hard, yeah, you get what you deserve. Yeah, I ain't taking a backseat, I'm passing anybody else who is rapping. I'm nasty, ain't nobody able to catch me. They gasping, they cannot compare, they can't match me. I'm at half speed, I got your girl and she laughing and dancing, hanging on my butt, she asking to crash with me, smash with me, she savage, she wants cash money, and she knows that I live lavishly. I wanna live, I'm cold inside, give all I have just to feel alive. I fight to live, I fight to strive, one day I'll have what I want. I want the whole world in the palm of my hand, I got a plan, I'm the man, now I'm teaching the game, a veteran, better than anybody else who tests me. I'm ready, looking in my hand and it's steady. I'm trending, ascending and blending, lyrical bending. Now I'm spreading and getting my name out now. Yeah, they hearing me laugh, all the crowds repping the sound. I'm hitting the ground, running, up and coming, ain't nothing. Yeah, rookie of the year, I'ma keep it 100. Cold-blooded, no budget, from nothing to something. I ain't bluffing, I got a full hand and a full plan. I ain't gonna stop till I'm at the top, man. Every single drop got me feeling awesome. I'm about to pop, started from the bottom, yeah. I wanna live, I'm cold inside, give all I have just to feel alive. I fight to live, I fight to strive, one day I'll have what I want in life. I work, I got vision, I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact. Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick. Gonna turn on the cameras here. Oh my goodness, I am so beat today. I'm tired. I had a long day, another long day. It's like every day you have a long day. Every day is a new day, and every day is fucking painful. But and the reason why I'm in pain is because I did laundry today, and you know how that is when you do laundry. It's a bitch when you do laundry. It's because it hurts my back a lot, and I really don't have people to help me do my laundry. So, I got to put my back into it and get it done because if I don't do it, it'll never get done. And talking about getting done, what's the deals going on with Candace Owens and Tim Poole? My goodness, I feel like I'm watching like the most incredible, craziest distraction match in history, where you have Tim Poole versus Candace Owens. And you know my opinion with Candace Owens and where I stand with Candace Owens. I mean, I like that she really does her work investigating, and she's just not coming, like, things are not coming out of her ass. She actually does the homework. My problem is her delivery and how she delivers her messages and how she pushes the narratives. That's always been my biggest problem with Candace. It's not how she does her work, it's how she presents her work, and then how she thinks like, I know it all, and I'm the only one that knows. Uh Problem. And another one, Tim Pool, right? He's acting very, very desperate for some reason. And I don't know if it's because of money or if it's because of attention, the lack of attention. But my man just went crazy on Candace, calling her the C word. I don't think I want to say that word here. It's very vulgar the way he attacked Candace today and just try to go for the juggler. And all he was doing was not even coming even close to her, because right now she's so far apart from him, and yet he's trying to attack her and make himself relevant. That's how I feel. I feel the desperation of Tim Pool. Like, he's like, well, I don't know if I'm gonna have the show anymore or whatever, and I don't think I'm gonna past December 19th. I don't know if I'm gonna have Tim. Was it Tim Cast IRL? Who gives a fuck? I don't even watch that show. Um, Maybe your overhead is too expensive. I mean, you're bitching and crying about security that didn't really do a good job. I mean, is someone coming up and shooting up your place and you live in the boonies? Something's not right. Second of all, why police wasn't called for this incident? Because he's saying that your house got shot up and you heard three shots, right? That supposedly hit your house or hit your establishment or whatever. Okay, why there's no police? Why is there no investigation? Why is there no police report? How come we're just going by word of mouth? That I could say that. Oh my god, my house got riddled by bullets, and I'm so scared for my life. Ah, and all I hear is crickets, crickets. I don't know how credible Tim Pool is, but I tell you right now, Tim Pool is a big poo poo. And I think the boy has poo pooed in his pants one too many times. And I think he's getting too close to the sun. Because I tell you right now, psst, Candace Owens will toast your ass. Don't get it twisted. That girl's on a mission. Like, Candace Owens, like, she could be a great friend of mine, but I would tell you right now, I will not get into any argument with her because she is the one to, like, really get on you and pounce on you. So be careful what you wish for, Tim, because you don't want to mess with Candace. Candace knows way too much. That's why they're putting hits on her life. That's why it's just very disturbing right now with Candace. But let's see. Hey, Albie, and hey, Terry, how you doing? Such a life. I have to go to the damn Laundry, man. Oh, laundry. I hate fucking laundry. Terry. Uh, you know how I feel. Today was laundry day for me, so I got everything done. So I'm really happy, but it really takes a lot out of me. I'm concentrating on buying a portable apartment-sized washer. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have one of those little apartment washers. They're okay. It's not. It's okay. They're all right. They're good for like certain to wash certain clothes, but not all your clothes. This is just a little. It's pretty big. It's like a little wide and pretty big, and I'll use it for what I use it for. I use it for just for little things like the towels and stuff like that I wash, and I just put a little detergent and let it run a cycle, dump the water, put back water in there, let it run again, and so forth. But I only use it like for emergencies and stuff like that. But let's go right to the first story. And of course, since I started talking about Candace Owens and Tim Poole, let's go right to Benny Johnson, who's right in the middle of this little problem that we have going on with these two. It's like every day is a new day, every day is a distraction. So let's get distracted together with this Tim Poole garbage with Candace Owens.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. The podcast wars of 2025 have gone thermonuclear with Candace Owens using Tim Poole in a cover image asking the billion-dollar question, who benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination? Candace Owens going now directly at Tim Poole, who's been very critical of Candace for monopolizing and monetizing Charlie's death. And now Tim Poole has struck back. On the eve of his studio getting riddled with bullets, which happened on Friday night,
which no police reports or police were shown up,
and said that Candace Owens is an effing evil scumbag, degenerate C-word.
And we have to go by word of his mouth.
Smiling while she does it. This has gone thermonuclear. It's the
I tell you, I always come with evidence.
Entire feed right now. Candace has responded. Let's go. Here's Tim Poole's shot across the bow against Candace.
Today, a large portion of people believe Turning Point, the victim, is actually the perpetrator. That's how terrifying the political climate is. The left doesn't have this degree of self-sabotage. And so if you think about, not only did the left get everything they could have dreamed of from the murder of Charlie Kirk. And again, I don't know what Robinson's political affiliation is. He's got a transferee boyfriend. We'll see what the evidence shows.
This guy goes crazy.
So you believe the FBI story?
I'm so. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Oh, what the FBI says, Tara Robinson did all that. So
do you believe that? I think that the evidence we have seen thus far, Occam's razor suggests Robinson is the likely culprit. We will see what happens in the trial when evidence is presented, but there's literally no other story. Just a bunch of fucking retards on the internet saying stupid shit.
You see?
And what that does is the
Okay. Before I continue, I hate stopping videos, but you see what he did there? He just went with this aggression. He's like fucking with the R word, really, that the word, the R word. Why would you this guy has no filter? I don't watch this guy for I don't care about him. He could be a Republican. That's great. That's fine. Not my cup of tea of Republican. I feel like he's more of a psyop than anything. He's kind of like this. He got attention, and then he wants to create the vision to get more attention. Pretty weird, but his choice of words and the choice of curse words that he uses is very disturbing, and I have to warn you guys because it does get a little nasty. This guy is a piece of fill in the blank. Okay, let's continue.
Organization that helped get Donald Trump elected which needs to persist. You don't got to be a fan of it, but it certainly will help get individual congressional candidates elected and stop Democrats from launching new committees and putting more people in prison like Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro. Instead, it's being gutted by fucking psychopaths telling people to pull their donations. So when this organization burns to the ground, or whatever the fuck happens to it, maybe they're fine. The organization that's rallying young people, causing a shift in the political leanings of a generation for the first time in history, is now in dire straits. Their leader and founder murdered.
I come
and
with
prominent pieces
motherfucking
of human
receipts.
trash
This
are trying
guy
to destroy it.
It's like
evil.
I don't know. I don't.
So you know
believe him.
what? When someone pulls in front of my property and fires on it several times, I'm sitting here looking at these vile pieces of shit and thinking to myself, for what purpose will I stick my neck out if this is what happens after Charlie Kirk is killed? Candace Owens is a fucking evil scumbag. She is a degenerate.
I wonder why he feels that way for Candace.
She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you fucking told me? She has no security. She doesn't fucking deal with the shit we have to deal with. She's a piece of shit. She's making everyone else suffer. And all of these fucking conservatives out there that send me these fucking messages have no fucking balls to call her out.
Tim Poole going scorched earth. A lot of people in the comments agreeing with him. What do you think?
I don't
Tim
agree
Poole
with him.
turning
I
his
think he's
guns
an
on
idiot.
other conservative commentators who refuse to engage in this battle or fight this battle. This is why we've covered this case. So
Okay, we're going from this guy plagiarized. He's a big time plagiarizer. To this guy here who is losing viewership and losing sponsorship and losing pretty much his mind and probably going to be losing his show. And he's throwing out a Hail Mary so he could grab attention and stir up the pot. So when you stir up the pot, more people come and watch. But I tell you right now, I don't like what he's cooking.
closely, I mean, am I perfectly satisfied with everything that's gone on in the investigation? Of course not. I've said this live on stage. I've said this in front of thousands of people. I've said this in front of millions of people on shows. I want the federal government to be as forthcoming, clear, and honest about all of their evidence as possible in order to shut down the types of spiraling narratives that can really break a movement. It's what you're seeing right now. So we have been out in front of it, but nonetheless, Tim Poole is sitting there saying conservatives are cowards because they haven't said anything.
More and more people have started
Why
doing
do
it.
we have to say
They send me
anything?
these fucking messages. Good for you, Tim. Good for you, Tim. I wasn't the first person to do it. I'm not going to take credit for that. But don't
Tim
fucking DM
It's
me
like a little
I did something for you
D-word.
as you cower, as you fucking cower, scared that she'll put you on her thumbnail and claim you benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination, which he's doing to me right fucking now.
Yeah, that was the.
I'm fucking done with these people.
This guy
He
needs a
has security,
tampon.
just not on the level of you.
Oh,
my
yeah, the
God.
one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. She doesn't give two fucking shits. No one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a shit about her security.
Whoa,
Meanwhile, I get bullets
whoa. What did he say? Let's go back a little bit. I usually don't do this, but let's go back a little bit because he says that his team went to her house and pretty much checked out the area and saw that they only have like one fat security guard and whatever in a suburban. How would he know this, and why is he sending his crew to her house? Why would he be sending his security personnel to Candace Owens' home? Like, I don't like. Listen in, because this is very important.
two fucking shits. No one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy. And
So she has a 4-foot wall and a fat guy. That his partner that's in studio went to her house. Now tell me, how safe is that? He's just admitted. Tim Poole just admitted of his buddy that's in studio went to her house and saw that her property only has a 4-foot wall and a fat security guard. Is that like some kind of doxing that we're trying to do here? Why are you sending personnel to Candace Owens' house? Answer that question, Tim Poole. Does that make any sense? Oh, you're so hot-headed right now that you can't answer proper questions because it's all about me and only about me. It's my safety. It's my world. It's mine. Everything's mine. I don't know. But the last time I known and checked, Candace Owens comes with receipts. And she shows it right to your motherfucking face. Tim Poole? I haven't seen any motherfucking receipts. He's talking about, oh, your 4-foot wall and your fast security. Well, can we see any pictures of this or some kind of like evidence of this? Because hearsay is not admissible in a court of law. Hearsay is like what you're doing right now, Tim Poole. So who am I going to believe? Someone that has receipts or someone who doesn't? I'm going along with the fucking receipts. Candace Owens has the receipts. She, until otherwise proven wrong, she has not. She's been doing her work. And she has really good people backing her up. What does Tim Poole has? He has a problem. And the problem is himself. He's self-imploding. That's his problem. It's really bad. Let's continue on with this Tim Poole. I think I should make myself bigger than Tim. Let me see if I could change this up. Here we go. Let's watch it like this better. Okay, here we go.
Doesn't give a shit about our security. Meanwhile, I get bullets fired at my fucking property, and I have to go live in the middle of nowhere. And I got fucking strangers coming up to my house in Maryland, breaking in. I got people showing up and beating up the residents who try to live there. How the fuck am I even supposed to sell this property? And it's all lies, it's all hypocrisy, and it is for the purpose of making money.
What?
And she does not live the way other people live.
Let's go back again here because this guy is talking a lot. He's saying a lot, and he's going a little bit fast. So let's go back a little bit from the security, the 4-foot wall, and all that stuff. But he said that he had another property that he can't sell because I guess the residents there got beat up or some shit, and now he's having problem trying to sell the property because nobody wants it. Like, give me some receipts. I mean, like I say, you're coming up with all these stories and all this stuff, but no feedback of receipts or even proof of any of this happening. I mean, I would like to see some police reports. Like, let's start there, and then we could go on with your story. But other than that, it's hearsay. All right, here we go. Let's continue on with this. Oh, look, I got zoomed in. So much energy that I'm drawing the camera going a little crazy here. I'm not crazy like Tim Poole, but that's wild.
Fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors shouldn't give two fucking shits. No one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a shit about her security. Meanwhile, I get bullets fired at my fucking property, and I have to go live in the middle of nowhere. And I got fucking strangers coming up to my house in Maryland, breaking in. I got people showing up and beating up the residents who try to live there. How the fuck am I even supposed to sell this property? And it's all lies, it's all hypocrisy, and it is for the purpose of making money. And she does not live the way other people live. And she.
Okay, so he said that the people that he has, this is property, but the people that are living there got beat up and are getting attacked, and yet I've never heard of a report of this happening. I've never heard from this idiot talking of any of this. Like, all you're doing is hearsay and not showing any evidence. This is why I don't trust what he says. He's pretty far right, but not too far right. But he is his own problem. His problem is his temperament. You can't. This is the type of person you can't talk to and have a calm conversation. This guy gets too hyperventilating, and he seems like he's gonna have a heart attack. He's gonna have an aneurysm. Like this he's having this panic attack, like for no damn reason. He's acting, oh, they shut up my place. They shut up my place. And then how come you didn't call the police? Why you didn't call the police? Another question is, why you didn't call the FBI? Because when Candace got her death threat, she called the FBI and they confirmed, yes, she is an incredible threat. She is under attack. Tim Poole, I don't see any you calling the FBI and reporting on all this. So you're reporting it to the people of YouTube for us to watch and for us to gather. Like, no, bitch, come with fucking evidence. That's all you need to do.
Claims she liked Charlie, she loved Charlie, and she is burning everything down that he built because she is evil. She is evil.
Tim Poole then calls out Megyn Kelly, saying that she was weak on
even Megyn Kelly,
and that conservatives are going to lose the midterms.
I don't trust Megyn Kelly either.
Single most effective assassination. Not only
if that's the people that he's going,
did they take down Turning Point?
What a horrible
fracture Turning Point.
That's why I don't watch
and their supporters. And Turning Point being the single largest youth organizing and most successful youth organization in the history of America. But also now they're breaking apart the coalition that helped Trump win. Most successful assassination in history, Tim Poole says. Here we go.
And I'll say it again. This conservative movement is fractured. It's fried, whatever it is. Okay. Republicans are on track to lose the midterms. They were actually trending in the other direction until Charlie Kirk was murdered.
Yeah.
And this is the point, isn't it? The most effective political assassination in history. And thanks to the likes of the vile cunt Candace Owens, she has turned Turning Point into the perpetrators of the crime that was against them.
You know what I mean?
I don't get paid by any of these people. I'm not on good terms.
You heard what he said? Like, let's go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit. He called her the C word again.
In the other direction until Charlie Kirk was murdered.
Yeah.
And this is the point, isn't it? The most effective political assassination in history. And thanks to the likes of the vile cunt Candace Owens, she has turned Turning Point into the perpetrators of the crime that was against them. I don't get paid by any of these people. I'm not on good terms necessarily with Turning Point USA. They didn't invite me to their stupid event. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. They invited me back after I started.
Wait a minute. Turning Point invited him to the Charlie Kirk memorial, and he didn't go. They didn't invite Candace. It makes you wonder, why were they reaching out to Tim Cast and Tim Poole to send an invite for him to go to Charlie's memorial, which he turned down. So he's this guy's a fucking idiot. Let's keep it moving.
Criticizing Candace. I'm not going to your event. I'm over all of this shit. The last thing that I need to deal with is a bunch of cowards in conservative media refusing to stand up to her. Megyn Kelly, come on. I appreciate the kind words, but come on. Such fucking pathetic bullshit. And I get people saying, Tim, thank you so much for talking about it. I don't care. I'm not doing a favor for anybody. I'm not doing this to benefit anybody. Nobody's paying me. There's no fucking Russia. There's no fucking Israel. There's just me sticking my neck out and then risking dying for what? A bunch of cowards that don't want to stand up to protect themselves? People like fucking Candace Owens?
I couldn't believe that she put you in the thumbnail.
What a fucking cunt.
Of her
wow.
Today.
I'm done.
The idea that she'd imply that you had some benefit or that you benefit somehow.
Well,
she benefited. I think she's a Fed, and I think she killed Charlie. No one.
He thinks that she's a Fed and that she killed Charlie. Let's let that sink in for a little bit. He thinks in his little pea brain that she is a Fed and that she killed Charlie. We needed a moment of silence for that, because this is the end of his pretty much his career right now. We're seeing him like implode right in front of our eyes. This guy has no filter, has no care. To use that C word I don't like have whoever uses that C word like that. He used it about 3 or 4 times already. Like, that's despicable. This man should be this. Where's a bar of soap? Let's put that in his mouth. Like, do you kiss your mother with that mouth? That disgusting mouth. Do you kiss your family with that mouth? Because I tell you right now, that mouth is full of shit. Oh my god, what a horrible person! Ugh, I would never subscribe to this dude. This is the first time I ever have him on this show that I'm actually showing you guys. Because I've never, like, I knew who he was, but I've never followed or watched any of his shows or anything. And if it's like this, forget about it. Count me out. I don't want no part of that. I don't care how right you are. I don't care if you're Republican and you're deep. Oh my God, I believe in all this Republicans. I don't care. I'm a Republican too. But guess what? There's a difference between like respect and disrespect. And right now, sir, you're a very disrespectful person, and you should be having like to say sorry to Candace for calling her the C word more than 4 times. That's you can have a fair exchange or displeasurement. That's great. If you want to go and talk it out, that's great. But don't come all crazy and calling people the C word and then think that it's okay. Like, that's where you lost me.
Benefited more than her. And now she is, when you look at what's stopping us from winning in 2026 right now, what the biggest threat, the biggest fear we have is, it is the disarray on the right. It is the fracturing of the coalition of all the different voices that came together and stopped
no matter
the
what.
liberal bullshit, liberal economic order machine.
I'll play you Tim's final commentary here, saying that he's going.
It doesn't matter who's in office. The system's already corrupted.
Timcast IRL because of all of this. Makes me very sad. I love that show. I love being on that show. But nonetheless, I get it, man. As a father, as an operator, this kind of stuff, you have a breaking point, and this is a lot of people's breaking points. I cannot explain, says Candace, but I sense that this isn't actually about me, and that Tim Poole is under tremendous financial pressure.
That's why he needs an enema.
Behave a certain way when they're under economic pressure, and I feel like he's lashing out, and I happened to be here, says Candace Owens. On that note, I genuinely hope whatever it is, he gets through it. I can guarantee without blaming the future 2026 GOP midterm results on Candace Owens is not the solution. Okay, so this is Candace effectively saying that Tim Poole now has financial troubles.
Yeah, he probably does.
I can tell you, I think I know as a matter of fact that's not true.
Well, he probably does. He's acting desperate, like he's having financial problems.
Why does Candace Owens always refer to herself in the third person or plural? It's always we and us. Candace Owens' new video, Who Benefited from Charlie Kirk's Assassination? Meanwhile, here's our last 20 videos with millions of views each, all about Charlie. Yeah. So the commentary on this is wild. Again, this is the most viral video on the entire internet.
Charlie was set up.
Very strange that Candace Owens is now injecting herself into what happened with Tim Poole after he called her out less than 48 hours before. She's exhibiting behavior similar to the murderer who returns to the scene of the crime. Tim Poole did say that he thinks Candace Owens is a Fed and that Candace Owens killed Charlie.
Yeah. He called her a Fed and said that she killed Charlie. I wonder. This is just weird, right? Because this all has been happening like for the past few days, especially with Turning Point. That organization is very fishy. It's I tell you right now, I don't trust any of them. Nobody in Turning Point, I don't trust. I think it's a PSYOP organization. I feel like they just cash checks and answer questions whenever they feel like it. Ever since Turning Point with Candace Owens, when that crazy exchange happened between those two last week, I feel like they had so much heat. Like, Turning Point had so much heat on them that they needed a scapegoat to deflect the energy that's coming towards Turning Point. And now I'm pretty sure they probably had a conversation with Tim Poole, and then he started with all this crazy shit. And now he's attacking Candace, and now the distraction is Tim Poole and Candace, not Candace and TP USA. Because that was supposed to happen on December 15th, which is next week. So is it going to happen? Is that session, that talk session going to happen? Because, I mean, Candace did say that date did not work for her because that is her husband's birthday. It does fall on a Monday. But I'm sure she would take time out of that, which is family time, memories that are going to be tarnished, to go after Turning Point and to let them know exactly like why the stuff that happened on that day happened. You know, we have your was it the chief of staff back there on as soon as Charlie gets shot, he just walks off talking on the phone and very suspiciously just keeps going. And then you see him later filming when Charlie's being taken out, like to the car, and he's up on a ledge recording everything. Like, yeah, right. This fucking camera recording things, and then I like the little zoom in. For some reason, it wants to do it, and then goes back to the scene and takes out the SD card from the camera behind them. That was behind Charlie. When something's funny, something's fishy, people start acting weird. And TP USA is acting very weird. Tim Poole, very, very weird. Something's up. And it's not good. And a lot of these people are going to go down the drain when the plug is pulled open. That's wild. I'm here for it. I'm alive for a reason. We're all alive for a reason. Let's continue watching.
Tim Poole just went on an unhinged rant about Candace Owens. Somebody needs to check on him. I mean, obviously, there's going to be Candace fans and Tim fans here. Every conservative needs to call out Candace Owens by name. She's an evil person who will destroy everything Charlie Kirk built for financial gain. Tim Poole is absolutely right to get heated here. Tim Poole is right about Candace Owens. Manipulative garbage. Tim Poole explains how Candace is intentionally manipulating her followers into thinking the White House confirmed that Macron hired.
Okay. I have a problem because they're fighting this war through X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. That's why I don't have X. I don't have Twitter. You could look for me in X. You could look for me on Twitter. I'm not there. I won't be there, and I don't care for it. I don't want that attention. I don't fight my battles through the internet and through these apps. I fight my battles face to face, or if you want, come on live, and we could settle this. You know, that's how I do it. That's how Candace does it. I do the same way. You know, not, oh, I'm going to put all this on Twitter and X and all the socials that I can find. I'm just going to my hands off. I am so, Tim Poole's about to have an aneurysm. He needs to be careful. He's just overdoing himself for no damn reason. He's, you know, there's a reason why your picture was put up there. There's a reason. And Tim Poole is acting very guilty.
An assassin to kill her. That was community noted. We talked about that on our show. Tim Poole going off. If Candace Owens isn't responsible for the shooting at Tim Poole's home, she can appear on my show anytime. Until then, it just feels weird, you know? Something just doesn't add up. I don't know, but like, I know she had something to do with it, says the quartering. Goodness gracious. Okay. Podcast Wars of 2025 have begun.
I don't watch the quartering. That's another one that's a right channel, but I don't. He's more focusing and pushing his coffee than anything else. And the stuff that he does produce sometimes is good, but sometimes it's like it's a little weird. And the fact that, and like what he wrote here, you know, like if Candace Owens isn't responsible for the shooting at Tim Poole's, like trying to make it seem like, oh, and if it wasn't her, why are you saying if it was her? You know what I mean? Like, you think Candace Owens is going to go out there and be like, I can't do it between my legs because I'm sitting down. But I'd be like between my legs, shooting at Tim Poole's home. Why would she want or have the means to send someone over there to shoot up his home? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But if Candace isn't responsible for the shooting at Tim Poole's home, she can appear on my show anytime. So you're trying to say if she isn't responsible, like, I don't know, I don't get the statement there. But until then, it just feels weird. Yeah, no, I don't. Something is just doesn't add up. I don't know, but like, I know she had something to do with it. Are you kidding me? She had what to do with it? Like, oh, the quartering I don't watch. I don't care for him. I don't care for his coffee. I don't drink coffee like that. If I'm gonna drink, I'd rather drink Dunkin' Donuts coffee than any other coffee of the quartering selling. Like, nope, no, thank you. But yeah, it does feel weird. It just does feel weird, and it's just the coincidence, right? Like, that's the same shit that was happening with Charlie, and that's happening again. And I wonder if there's a hit team out there that are tackling these individuals not by so much killing them, but having them go at each other and bringing division, which is very weird and, yeah, very sad.
And we're part of them. And get ready for more. It's going to be exciting. And more importantly, is it going to destroy the conservative movement? That is one thing that Charlie would hate. The biggest desecration of Charlie's memory is to atomize the coalition that he built. And that's what really pisses me off about all of this. That's what's making me so enraged. Not only that, but the lies, the slander, the libels against good people, people that I know, myself, Turning Point. I mean, there's an entire op here.
I question, the $1 billion question is here, right? The third person. I can add a couple of more pictures here. We need more pictures all around. Actually, we need a fucking photo album because I'm going to need a lot to put in a lot of pictures. Because it's not just these pictures right here. There's a lot more to this. And this guy right here, I don't know, man. When I smell shit, I call shit, right? And I don't like what he's cooking. I don't know. There's something's just off. Something's just not right. I feel like we're being suckered. I feel like the psyop is still here. I feel like the 1% is still in control. They manipulated their way into the Republican Party. The 1% has always been in the Republican and Democratic Party, and I feel like I just feel like they're infiltrated. They're already in the Republican Party, and they're gonna do everything they can to blow themselves up from inside, right? Like, look how Tim Poole is just acting all crazy and going all wild, and he's pretty far right. And there's been other right wingers that have been going a little wild and being more divided and going really dark, and not helpful. And like, who pays Tim Cass, to be honest with you? And we know Patel here, and I'm telling you right now, like, I feel like he's sleeping with a spy. I feel like he's already been infiltrated, and he's just acting out the role. That's all he's doing. Does he knows what he's doing? Not really. Is he qualified to do what he's doing? No. But I just don't trust the guy. I don't trust him.
Here in order to try and crush and destroy Turning Point, fracture it from the outside. And so just tread lightly, right? Like we see what's going on.
Yeah, Bongino too.
You have to have the
Oh my
strength,
god.
and you have to have
Like,
the force.
oh my god, Terry. Like, I remember when Bongino before he got into the FBI and this and that, the what he was speaking and how he was gonna do things if he was in there, and he knew all the lists, he knew all this, and he was blah 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 and this and that, and then he got into the FBI, and then he told them, listen, you gotta change your role and shut your mouth. And now I feel like he's just been like hypnotized to follow everything that they say and do what they say, and you don't have a say. And shut the fuck up and do your job. And if you act any weirder or crazier, then we'll fucking kill your family. So do a great job. I don't know. Something about Bongino I don't trust. There's something like I feel like I feel like they infiltrated the Republican Party already. It's an outside source that has already infiltrated, and they're tearing the Republican Party apart from within. The enemy is within. The enemy has always been within. And they are here and they are trying to take over. They're going to try to implode the Republican Party so that way the Democrats have a chance, and then the Democrats are gonna jump along with this dictatorship and all the craziness from the real far left, and they're gonna try to win the elections. And if they win the elections, I hope and I pray to God that they don't, but if they do, I don't think I'll be alive here. Maybe it'll be the end of me. Maybe I won't probably, I don't know, because I've been having a lot of health issues. So, and I still have this shit in my head that, like, it wakes, like last night it happened to me where I had to wake up, like, dead out of my sleep because my fucking head felt like I was dying. Like, it just feels like this weird vortex right in the front of my head, like my third eye. And it just hit me like, I feel like I was sucked into the Twilight Zone. And it was all black, and my hands were really like painful, and I couldn't move them; they were stiff. And then I just fell right back, and I just went back to sleep. The weirdest shit, And I'm trying. And last night I didn't record myself, man. I feel like I'm gonna put the camera back on again to start recording because I'm being awoken from a dead sleep, and I just have this big like energy in my brain, in my head. So I'm trying to figure that shit out. But Bongino, there's something about him, man. I used to watch bits and pieces of Dan Bongino podcast. Yeah, I seen a little bit of his podcast and stuff. He was pretty aggressive, pretty like he was like, he seemed like a good person for the people, right? He was very convincing. But as soon as he got into the FBI, they cut his fucking balls off. Okay? So that's a man walking with no balls. And I hope he comes and investigates me, because I tell him right to the motherfucking face, you have no balls. And you guys have been manipulated. And they're going trying to get deep. And they're getting next to Trump. I mean, I hope Trump can make it out alive, but, might be seeing President J.D. Vance. I hope to God we don't. Not that way. The only way I want to see J.D. Vance make it as president is electing him president, not having him take over as president. All right, let's continue watch this shit show of Benny Johnson and the characters of Tim Poole and Candace Owens. Candace Owens, girl, the only thing I don't like is your delivery, but I do like your homework. And I like where you're going, but you need to deliver it a little different, because I just feel like she's spiking the ball before she scores the touchdown. You know what I mean? That's Candace. All right, let's keep it moving.
To be able to push back against it, withstand it, and continue to build.
It could be Pat Bondi too.
It's pretty obvious what's happening.
That question mark could be Pat Bondi.
Final commentary on it, saying, you know what? Maybe it's over for my show. This is it. There you go.
People are shooting at you. That's obviously your
Certainly.
100%. But we lost Charlie Kirk. You're thinking about, taking off in the sunset. Who we got left? So Charlie's gone.
Candace Owens. Congratulations.
Okay, we got Candace Owens too.
Good. So you can spin around with your dick in your hand while you sound like a retard to the average person, and then Democrats win.
What? What did he say there? So you can walk around with in your hand. So let's make an example. We need a bigger one. All right. This is the wiener in your hand while you walking around spitting like it's like, I know a lot of y'all are saying, can we hear that again? Okay, let's hear it again.
People are shooting at you. That's obviously your
Certainly.
100%. But we lost Charlie Kirk. You're thinking about, taking off in the sunset. Who we got left? So Charlie's gone.
Candace Owens. Congratulations.
Okay, we got Candace Owens too.
Good. So you can spin around with your dick in your hand while you sound like a retard to the average person, and then Democrats win.
Why did he have to say the R word? So walk around with in your hand while you're spitting around. Put in your hand. I don't understand his metaphor there. I don't get it. And the fact that he uses the R word again. Why is this guy not canceled? Like, that's my question, right? Oh, here comes a Republican going after another Republican. You damn right. Tired of this bullshit. This guy he's very insensitive. He's very ignorant, very narcissistic. Oh my God. This person you see right here, right over there, very insensitive and super narcissistic energy. Super narcissistic. Where's the evidence of anybody shooting at your home? Don't you have video cameras? Don't you have video cameras outside? Don't neighbors around the area have video cameras too that they could pick up the sound of gunfire from a distance? Like the zoom in. That's crazy. This energy tonight. Every time when I'm talking about something important and I have my medicine here, it zooms in. It zooms in for no apparent reason. Well, it is a reason. It's trying to focus on me and telling you, like, he's saying the truth, man. Like, if someone's shooting up your house, one, there has to be video door. I'm pretty sure they have the Ring cameras. I'm pretty sure they have security cameras that pick up sound. I'm pretty sure, like, where are the evidence of this happening? I want to hear the gunshots. I want to hear from his cameras. I want to hear anything. What he provided, a goose egg. Nothing. So I'm supposed to believe this guy? I'm supposed to believe him. Like, his story. And the only thing he's been saying, and this is only about a 14-minute video, the R word, the C word, he has said the R word about 3-4 times already. The C word, he has said it about 4 times. You know, I'm going to have to watch this again to get an accurate count. But one is too much. You know, he needs to watch his mouth. He just needs to, like, you could be mad and you could project yourself out, but you don't disrespect that like that way. I don't care how hurt you are or how sensitive you are, and your feelings has been like hurt and stumbled on. Who gives a fuck? You're supposed to be a man. You take care of your own shit. You don't give a fuck about what other people say out there. We the people are just an audience to you. That's all we are. And we're not watching you, and you're not making money because you're not interesting. Look, me, I got 3 people watching. You think I'm gonna have a cow and I'm gonna shut down my show because I only have 3 people watching, and I'm not gonna do what I do every fucking day here? That's not stupid, Tim. This motherfucker makes millions of dollars, and the fact that I don't make not even $1, I actually come out of pocket for my show. I spend almost close to $100 a month for this show just to come on here and spend my time with you guys and watch videos with you guys and break down videos and just give my opinion on the energy that I'm feeling and what I'm feeling and just saying it out loud and have it recorded and documented on YouTube. But it doesn't give me a right to be all mad and start using the C and the R word. That's all.
I mean, but you're taking off.
Yeah, you know why? Because people are not. When I get private texts and messages saying like, "Oh yeah, I agree with you, but I would never dare say anything," I'm like, I'm not doing this. You know, my whole life, I have had a disdain for those who demand others work for them. Now, I hold on for a minute. Like, I understand we all
considering
work for each other.
Pat Bondi lied about the Epstein files on live TV. I told you,
like, we're
Terry.
in Chicago. I skateboard, but there's
Pat
no
Bondi
skate
is
in the
that
winter.
third
So
person.
what do we do? Well, holy crap! I figured something out. If 10 of my friends come together and put $100 down every month, we can actually rent a warehouse. And you know what they all said? You do it and then let me know and I'll think about it.
Yep.
And that's the world, and that's what people do. So when people message me saying I wouldn't dare speak up against Candace, I'm just like, oh, fuck off, dude. Coward. But to the people that have started speaking out, calling her out, you know, good. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter in the end. It doesn't really matter in the end. She can say whatever she wants. She can do whatever wackaloon show she wants. The fact that she put me on her thumbnail today, titled "Who Benefited from Charlie Kirk's Death," whether she's retarded, I don't think she is, or doing it intentionally, it doesn't matter. The message is clear. You speak up against her, and she will sick people on you. Is that the purpose?
That was
I called her out.
Yeah, absolutely, that was the point. The reason she put you on the thumbnail was because you had the audacity to call her out. It was
and no one else would, and people don't, and so many people don't. Like when Ben Shapiro was on with Megyn Kelly, and Megyn Kelly deferred and then said, well, I don't know, and demurred, and then later came out and said, Candace never said that. It's like, you know what, man? She can say every which way a million times, but never directly say it for plausible deniability.
Yep.
As if we're retarded. It's what a stupid world to live in.
Why is this guy saying that?
It's not just about her. She comes up because she, you know, I guess there it is. You know, she put me on her thumbnail. She's a piece of trash.
What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Obviously, I know that this is fractured both sides. I feel like we should do a deep dive on it today on the show. And maybe that's what we'll do. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. Keep fighting.
That's crazy. Okay. The amount of times that man said that R word and not have been canceled. Not canceled. Not canceled. That's crazy. And then using the C word too. The C word and the R word. And yeah, it's okay for him to say it and no accountability. That's what America is really. It's like, it's not make America great again. It's not. America has always been great. So we're not doing it again if we are already great. It's make accountability great again. Because we lost accountability down the road. And now we got to find it and bring it back. Because we need accountability That's why people don't fear the government. They don't fear the cops. They don't fear the system because like it's so weak that they know that they'll get out as soon as possible. Like there's no accountability. People don't get in trouble. Look what happened to Letitia James and Comey. Like their cases got thrown out. Thrown out. No accountability. You did mortgage fraud. You guys did it all. You guys, like any regular person would have been going and seeing 30 years in jail. But you guys, nah, you ain't seen shit. You're okay. Go back and be the AG that you could be in New York. Have fun. No accountability. We need to bring back accountability in 2026. Make accountability great again. We need to make it great again. It's just, we have to. We have to. That's the true mega way. Please. If you guys in the future listen to me, we need to make accountability great again. And let's go on to the next show. I promise, hopefully, not to pause this one as much as I did Benny Johnson, but that one, I really had to break it down because he said that R word way too many times. I'm going to have to watch it again and keep a tally of how many times he said the C word, you know, like with the hard T, and how many times he said the R word. Like, I want to know how many times. And, like, that's wild. And he's not canceled. He makes millions of dollars. He has all these sponsorships. And I'm like, I fucking do a show here for hours upon hours, and I don't get no fucking sponsorship or anything. I kind of watch my mouth. I sometimes say things that YouTube don't like. And that's why I say, fuck you, YouTube. But, you know, it's a thing that I always do. You know, because you guys deserve it, YouTube. You motherfucker, YouTube. Okay, right. That's how you get canceled on YouTube, and then you don't get a push on your subscription count. I know that's the punishment, but fuck you, YouTube. I don't give a fuck. All right, let's move forward to liberal hive mind.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's your meme of the day, brought to you by 5mind.com. You know, it's crazy because for the last decade, they've been telling us that Donald Trump is a madman. He's crazy, a danger to democracy, a psycho, a political Tasmanian devil that's going to destroy everything and anything that he touches. But for somebody who's supposedly so innately destructive, I find myself often asking the question, why is it that he seems to be the only person in the political space actually fixing things? Why is it that this supposed man who is so destructive has such a track record of doing the exact opposite, repairing things? And he also, time and time again, seems to be tackling issue after issue, offering very clever solutions, getting straight to the crux of the issues and bringing in some real policy reform. You know, I just don't see the whole destructive narrative. And once again, I think the president is shining on the auto issue, doing what he does best, applying some very, very nice soft touch policies that really tackle the nuance of these trade issues. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on and what the media seems to be purposely ignoring as they're focused on whatever the tabloid nonsense of the week is. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so take a look at this announcement from the White House.
Well, we're talking about cafe standards, a very big deal, very important. Today, my administration has taken historic action to lower costs for American consumers, protect American auto jobs, and make buying a car much more affordable for countless American families and also safer. We're officially terminating Joe Biden's ridiculously burdensome, horrible, actually, cafe standards that imposed expensive restrictions and all sorts of problems, gave all sorts of problems to automakers. And we're not only talking about here, we're talking about outside of our country, because nobody could do it. Nobody wanted to do it, and it was ridiculous, very expensive. It put tremendous upward pressure on car prices, combined with the insane electric vehicle mandate. Biden's burdensome regulations helped cause the price of cars to soar more than 25%. And in one case, they went up 18% in 1 year. Today, we're taking one more step to kill the Green New Scam. It's part of the greatest scam, probably, well, other than Russia, and a few others I could name. The greatest scam in American history, the Green New Scam. And it's a quest to end the gasoline-powered car. This is what they wanted to do, even though we have more gasoline than any other country by far. And people want the gasoline car. They want everything. They want electric. They want to have lots of alternatives, but they do want the gasoline car. Right now, it's leading away by a lot. The car business is a very interesting business, but we want to keep it that way.
You know, for the last however many months, the Democrats haven't shut up about affordability. And they keep pointing at the auto sector, pointing at the cars, saying, oh, look how expensive cars are. And then, of course, attempting to make a link to President Trump's tariffs. But by pretty much start of the year, cars were already at record high costs.
For the first time, the average cost of a new car in the US has topped $50,000. That is in part down to tariffs, with experts warning of an even bigger hit on prices next year.
The average cost of a new car is $50,000. And guess what? All of that happened under Joe Biden. It wasn't just the monetary mismanagement that led to ridiculous overspending levels for 5 years freaking straight while the economy was shut down and supply chains were in complete dysfunction. It wasn't just the monetary imbalance, pumping up the money supply while reducing productivity, meaning less goods and more money to buy those goods, aka massive inflation, in this case hyperinflation. It was also the fact that they added insult to injury during that time by hitting the auto sector with all kinds of regulatory burdens. And so please miss me with this, oh, tariffs are making cars more expensive, when a 2008 Honda costs like $15,000 nowadays. And all of that happened over the last 4 years of Joe Biden's administration. Well, now comes the common sense approach, the common sense solution, the first solution of peeling back those Biden regulations that have added to the cost of vehicles. But not only that, in true Trump fashion, they're coming at this issue with a multi-pronged approach, tackling multiple different issues of efficiencies.
The other things we're doing is separate from this meeting, but I think everybody here would agree with it. If you go to Japan, where I just left, and if you go to South Korea and Malaysia and other countries, they have a very small car, sort of like the Beetle used to be with the Volkswagen. They're very small. They're really cute. And I said, how would that do in this country? And everyone seems to think good, but you're not allowed to build them. And I've authorized the secretary to immediately approve the production of those cars. So you'll be able to buy, they really are, they're actually, some of them are really beautiful, actually. If you take a look, Honda, some of the Japanese companies do a beautiful job. But we're not allowed to make them in this country. And I think you're going to do very well with those cars.
Now they're talking about rolling back some of these regulations that stop car manufacturers from essentially making simple products. And he was also mentioning this in reference to tractors as well.
Also give the tractor companies, John Deere and all of the companies that make the equipment, we're going to take off a lot of the environmental restrictions that they have on machinery. It's ridiculous. I know, because I buy a lot of that machinery for different things. We have a lot of big clubs with, hundreds, thousands of acres. And I buy a lot of stuff, and you buy it, it's got so much equipment on it for the environmental, it doesn't do anything, except it makes the equipment much more expensive and much more complicated to work. And it's not as good as the old days. And we're going to take a lot of that nonsense off of the equipment.
Battery operated.
Reduce, and we're going to do it, and we're going to say you're going to reduce the prices. We're not going to do it, and they're not going to reduce. They're going to have to reduce their prices because farming equipment has gotten too expensive. And a lot of the reason is because they put these environmental excesses on the equipment, which don't do a damn thing except make it complicated, make it impractical. And you really have to be, in many cases, you need about 185 IQ to turn on a lawnmower.
Well, this, I think, is a very important issue. Nowadays, all these industries are so overly regulated. The standards are so completely over the top. There's so many hoops and hurdles, and it adds so much cost to the production of these vehicles and also commercial equipment. Well, now the Trump suggestion is to, again, peel back some of that stuff and allow companies to start making simple products again. And of course, what this does also is it breeds more competition, because now smaller engineering firms could start competing in some of these entry-level spaces. You know, the Democrats want you to think that it's the tariffs that are making everything more expensive, but really it's the massive, never-ending growth in government and their connection with these few oligarchy corporations who have set up this racket to basically control the entire industry. Cars keep getting more and more and more expensive. You're forced to buy more and more useless plastic crap and tech and gadgets, and it's just all become so burdensome, hasn't it? You know, when we're talking about a more macroeconomic view, just think about how much could change if all of a sudden a lot of this stuff is lifted and people can just start making things again. Imagine how much more productive we'd get if we started building maybe a little bit more like China. You know, there's no reason why China should be producing a good for $20,000, and then when we produce it domestically, it's $60,000. The difference should not be that significant, especially not when you're doing things at scale. You know, sure, they have cheap labor, but it's really not that much cheaper. And at the end of the day, when you're talking about commodities and materials, the market prices are pretty much global. We should be able to produce high quality goods at a relatively cheap cost, but we can't. Because government doesn't let you. The taxes, the regulation, the compliance, the this, that, and the other. It's time to just get back to building. Imagine if we could start building simple things, and then young aspiring entrepreneurs who aren't working with much capital can start buying affordable quality equipment and starting businesses and being productive. That changes the whole freaking game. And so these are, again, some really smart policy proposals. Just like Donald Trump's suggestion to put money in the hands of the consumer in relation to the Obamacare subsidy issue. You know, again, the Democrats tell you that Donald Trump's destroying everything. His tariffs are destroying everything. But he's really the guy coming in and actually fixing things. And he's coming in and pushing what is desperately needed right now, because we are headed into a AI robotics industrial revolution. And the last thing we need is to have tree-hugging frickin' weirdos strapping us by our ankles while China's outrunning us by a frickin' mile, because they could actually mobilize and do things. We need to be lifting the tax and regulation burdens. We need to push forth American innovation and production, because really it's the number one issue right now. We need AI, we need robotics, so we can end this reliance on importing third world labor, and we need to be leading the world in terms of industrial robotics. We should be mass producing Teslas and other vehicles at a rate uncomparable to anywhere else in the world. You know how fancy television sets back in the day were like $15,000, and now you could get a 75-inch 4K TV for like, I don't know, $400, maybe even less sometimes if you get a good deal? Well, that's because of all the innovation that happened in that space. Imagine we do the same thing, but with vehicles and equipment and commercial equipment and vehicles. Imagine we're pumping out Teslas like you can't even freaking imagine. Boom, $10,000 to $20,000 a pop. They've become cheap everyday toys. Well, that's exactly what China's trying to do. We need to beat them to it. We need to be leading the world in all of these technologies, and yes, in production as well, in high-tech manufacturing, creating good engineering jobs for American citizens, rather than endless Uber drivers freaking everywhere. And the only thing that's going to stop us from getting there are the leftist environmentalists, these freaking bureaucrats who want to get in the way of every process, every transaction, every innovation. They want to limit, constrict. They got to drop the freaking shackles so we can run. And that's exactly what President Trump is saying here. The left will probably tell you that, oh no, you can't do this. 10 billion gazillion people will now die. But come on. Cars don't need to be so complicated. There could be simpler cars on the road. There could be mini cars on the road. The companies that make the best, most efficient, most clean, most safe products will end up winning. We don't need government to be controlling every aspect of business. The red tape has to be removed, and American ingenuity has to be completely and utterly unleashed on the world. The only thing standing in the way is Congress and the massive bureaucrat machine. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy on that front, but there's a lot more to tackle. I know the business side is the business side, but I just feel like you got a lot of people going a little wild. Is it because they have too much time on their hands? Or, I mean, a lot of these kids, a lot of these, like, what I say, let's say the street takeovers, right? You got all these kids. They have a lot of time in their hands. They're out there in their cars doing donuts in the middle of the intersection. All the people surrounding. How did they set all this up, right? And how come all these people have too much time in their hands? They could be the next engineers, the next like that's our future, and our future is out in a street corner and having cars do donuts, and while they're burning down another car. Like, I don't get society. because we should be progressing. We should be moving forward. All of us all together take one big step forward, right? But no, it seems like we get tripped up all the time and we keep falling on our face. That's the problem that we're having, because we should be more into the future than what we are now. I feel like we got too comfortable with where we're at in life, and I feel like the content is what's slowing us down instead of progressing more and being more. You know, like Elon. Look at Elon. He came from the rags and now he's up the richest man in the world. You know, I don't trust him still. I don't trust him, but that's okay, you know, because like it's all right not to trust everyone, it's okay, but something about him, screams psyop, screams, and just, yeah, how someone could be so and get too advanced and be able to do what they're doing and all these crafts they're developing. mm, we cannot travel to other planets with the materials we have here. I mean, it's not been developed. Like, there's no way. Like, Elon has bright ideas and, he is pretty smart and so forth, but there's no way for us to reach Mars. We can't get there and be like, yay, take a picture. Okay, let's get back in. Let's go home. That's not going. That it's just we can't pass the radiation belt. Like, the sun every day explodes with solar flares. Like, you imagine you're out there in space and there's a massive like solar flare coming your direction, and you don't have the protection of Earth's atmosphere and Earth's, like the ionosphere. You don't have any of that protection because you're traveling to Mars. Help me make that make sense. I don't think these people have really thought out the dangers, and we can't really handle being out there. It's like a fish out of water. Let's see the chat. See what's up, chat. What's going on? You're getting the money from somewhere. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess we're definitely not progressing. On the contrary, we're actually doing the opposite. Yeah, we are. We're going backwards. We tripping. We're not moving forward. You guys stuck in back there. You see where I'm at? I'm in motherfucking Mars. I'm taking that step forward. I'm trying to move forward while everybody's like going backwards and committing crimes and killing people and making mistakes every day. Every day, mistakes, 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 mistakes. Like, people don't learn from their mistakes. That's why you guys are trapped here. That's why there's no progression. Because you guys continue to make mistakes. That's crazy. And it's humanity, it's all of us. Because if we were all one together, you know how much energy we could have and what we can do if we were all together and actually in harmony together. Oh my God. Have you seen the Trolls movie? It's like we all get together and we have that little of energy, because we all have energy. We all are a piece of a battery. We have like our own internal batteries, and we're like the most important source of energy is us, and people are just not together. They don't understand how love and togetherness with their loved ones, how much it matters. That positive energy, that reinforcement energy, it could cure anything pretty much, especially if you have a really strong bond. Plucking hairs. I know. I feel like I'm plucking a chicken right now. Let's see what we got here. Story time is over. Back to the news. See what we got here. Let's watch this one. I don't know what it's about. Well, we're gonna find out.
One of the messages sent to my son, and I quote, I am more determined to rot your life than to make it a waste, a trash can, a shame, a dishonor, a hell, a real disaster, a hell on earth. And I remind you that I am heartless. I have no pity to rot a life as well as yours. This was one of almost 200 messages sent to my child over the span of 19 and a half hours. He was witty, thoughtful, kind, and loved chess. James was a high school senior. He wanted to major in pre-law, and he was months away from breaking a 40-year-old school record in the 110 hurdles. For nearly 20 hours, they attacked, threatened, terrorized, dismantled my child. Every time he tried to fight back and ask, why are you doing this to me? Please leave me alone. They escalated, sending his image to friends and family, telling him he would be labeled a pedophile, telling him his future was over, telling him you should just kill yourself. And in those last moments, my son, who had everything to live for, felt like he had no other choice.
I don't get the
That
story.
was Tamia Woods this morning, telling the Senate Judiciary Committee about her son, James, who she says took his own life after he was blackmailed by online sextortion predators who threatened to share his intimate photos if he did not send them money. He was 17 years old. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm
I don't
Molly
get
Lyon,
it.
and joining us today, Jerry Willis, Fox Business correspondent. Kennedy, host of the Kennedy Saves the World podcast.
Nobody's gonna fucking
Rachel
extort
Neville,
me
Fox News
like
anchor,
at
and Brian
17.
Kilmeade, Fox and Friends co-host and host of the Brian Kilmeade
What
Show
type
on
of
Fox
pictures
Radio
did
with
they get?
Nation with Brian Kilmeade. James was obsessed with comics. He could quote every episode of the Flash TV show, and he wore an anime headband during track meets because he said it made him run faster. He was the one to beat in the men's 110-meter hurdles. One November afternoon, he was targeted online by predators who at first pretended to be a teenage girl. They tricked him into sending intimate photos, then bombarded him with more than 200 messages in less than a day,
Oh,
telling
he's
James to
stupid.
send money or risk losing everything.
Oh, he's
He
dumb.
took his own life. Unfortunately, James' story isn't unique. The FBI warns sextortion is exploding and young boys are being targeted constantly.
Okay, I gotta stop it there. That's crazy, right? Because it was his decision. It was his mistake, right? Because how are you gonna be sending anyone any kind of crazy pictures like that without knowing the person, possibly like knowing them in person, or like knowing them instead of like you talked online and you shared a couple of pictures and then they want to show nude pictures right away? Like, what is the internet coming to? Like, no self-respect. Like, the people are just so innocent, and then they just like, here, yeah, look at this. And then they come and turn that picture around and then use it against you. Say, listen, if you don't give me this, then we're going to plaster this picture all over your track meet and we're going to embarrass you all over everywhere you go. So it made the 17-year-old want to commit suicide and committed suicide. I mean, it's sad, but couldn't you just like gone to the authorities and told them like this is what happened and like they got my picture and they threatened me to, do this, and they could probably get to that digital footprint and stop that from happening. So, I mean, he took the wrong direction to get this resolved. First off, why are you sending your thing pictures to anybody, to anyone that you don't know? And like, two, why you didn't go to the authorities to get that resolved in private? They could have done an investigation. They could have got to the bottom of it. They could have gone to the IP and found out where that picture was going to and go to that location where that picture got to and, follow the digital footprint. But the fact that you took your life that was a mistake that you did, buddy, man. 17 years old and you're just popping up your weenier and doing these poses and stuff. And you can wear whatever band of whatever character you want in your head, but the one that you were wearing that day was a fucking bozo one because you got you got bozoed. And then they got your picture and then they used it against you. And then you decided, I'll just kill myself instead of people seeing me in different positions that I took the pictures. Like, what type of positions that he took? If he's 17 years old, and like, what positions that he got into to be throwing his life away like that? There must have been some really very prerogative, like, I don't know, what, spread eagle or something? Like, what you're doing? Like, I don't get it. Yeah, bullying and harassment. Yeah, I mean, he could have gone to the cops with that. Why he was doing so good in his life, and why would you be sending out any pictures and you didn't even know that person, unless he sent it to a girl and she was the one that smeared it. I try to think of the. Yeah, I mean, no, it was not a girl on the other end. I don't think. Because a lot of these imposters from around the world and stuff, they pose like they're female, but they're really not females. They're just guys, and they trick guys, and they're like, yeah, I'll show you my hoo-ha, and he'll send a whole bunch of pictures of a hoo-ha that's not even his. It's probably somebody else's hoo-ha, but he got, oh man, that's so exciting, let me show you mine. And yeah, that's that's what happened. And that's where they like, got you. So, and I'm pretty sure he shared his accomplishments with that person on the other end, so they already knew who he was, what he was capable of, and they pretty much, yeah, he got framed, he got fucked, and he killed himself, and that's so sad, but so stupid. Yeah, like a catfish situation. That happens all the time, especially with those from like coming out of Africa or anywhere around the world. Like, there's a lot of opportunistics, especially in Africa, that will pose as a female, and they will be like, they'll send you even like over, like they'll even send you a message like, hey baby, how you doing, and this and that, but they're using one of those voice changers, and it makes it sound like female, but it's a guy on the other end. So you gotta be careful. The future is wild. AI is a dangerous thing. These people, the world don't understand what they're opened, and it's technology that does not belong to us. That's the most dangerous part. All AI technology is not from Earth, and it's very ancient. It was brought here. It was used before. Back in the days, there were computers. Back in the days, there were cell phones. There were all this very, like how we are today. It was back in the days. It was just like it. Things happened, and Earth went through changes, sun exploding, and super like waves hit the Earth, and the Earth like all crumbled, and tidal waves and things happen, with this planet. This planet has been evolving, every single day it evolves. And for us to think that we're here now, we're the beast, we're number one. Yeah, no, the winner here is going to be Earth, no matter what. We're a very limited time. We only live a certain amount of rotations on this planet. Every day is a rotation. Okay, so whatever your lifetime is, and you break it down to the 365 days, and then you multiply by your year you were born. You'll know how many rotations you've been here on this planet. You're only here for a good while. Then you're done. You get recycled. Your soul, it regenerates back into the atmosphere, and you're part of energy again until you get like reelected to come back down again. And that's how people believe in reincarnation. It's like there's a lot of people that end up coming back and going into other people, like going into a body, but then remembering how they died and what life they had before. That's happened so many times. Yeah, let me see. Oh, trust me, I get it. Catfishing has been around for as long as the internet has been around. Yep, very true. Very true. People were catfishing since the 90s. Yeah. Yeah. They even have a show, Catfish. I know it was like on MTV or something, right? All right, let's go and let's watch this next episode. I forgot what I clicked. Oh yeah, let's continue with the extortion. I guess I don't know how you listen. Don't be, if you're 18 or younger or 17 or younger, you don't need to be showing your goodies to anybody. I would say anyone. I would say 18 and under, 19 or under. You gotta protect even the 19-year-olds because they're young, dumb, still full of cum, and you gotta be careful with them. Um, it's just sad. Like this kid just threw his whole life away because of a picture he took and sent. I wonder what positions he was. I don't care to see the picture, but it must have been really bad for him to like want to take his life away. Like, what did he do? Like, I mean, come on. This is like, it doesn't make like, I don't know if it was a girl or a guy he was sending that picture to, you know? Unless he had his finger or his ass up his ass or something, and he took pictures like that and sent it, and then he was like, "Oh shit, now they're gonna use that against me or whatever," and then he got so scared he killed himself. I mean, that's probably the only like thought that pops into mind that would probably do that and do him in. Other than that, it was sent to a girl. What possibly did he do? Oh my god, I jerked off and took a picture, and like they're gonna use it for all my life. Oh, I don't know. Just weird. Weird fucking story. Let's keep watching that story though.
From October 2021 to March 2023, federal agents received over 13,000 reports of sextortion of minors, one as young as 8 years old. At least 20 of the victims took their own lives. Yesterday, friends and family of another victim, 15-year-old Braden Boyne, celebrated as Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers signed a bill named after him into law. Braden loved to ski, play baseball, and sing loudly and off-key.
To me, it means hope. The hope that this is only the beginning of Braden's story, not the end. Hope that through him and the passing of this law, we will reach every parent in this state and further. I have hope that we will take back control from these criminals and our children will no longer be pawns in their sick games.
I'm grateful that Braden's parents get the comfort to know that this won't happen to other kids the way it happened to Braden.
It is utterly heartbreaking. And these people are not just criminals. They are vile, evil manipulators, Brian. They have a certain talent and they use it and they attack the most vulnerable among us, teenagers that don't even know this is coming.
So there's a couple of things. I think you got to approach it from two places. Number one, make the penalty greater. I got it. I understand that. But usually somebody with a twisted mind like that is not saying, well, I could get 7 years in prison or 12. I also think you got to educate the kids like you did with drunk driving. From day one, this is an example proportionally for second and third grade. What could happen online? This is one way it could be lured in. And remember, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving, they would bring in the stories of kids. I've killed somebody because I drank too much. It's got to be, we have to approach social media and the dangers exactly like it's drugs and alcohol. And I think that, along with what Australia is doing and saying, banning social media until you're in your mid-teens, I think that's where we're heading as a civilized world.
Absolutely right. We actually have some tips from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children regarding sextortion victims. We want to get to this right away before we continue with the topic. The blackmailer is not to blame, not you. The blackmailer is to blame, not you. The report via You can report all of this via
camera
accounting
keeps
the
fucking
platform
moving.
safety. So let people know this is happening.
Stop moving the
Block
camera.
the suspect, the person after you. Do not delete the profile or the messages, because that can help law enforcement if they're trying to catch a blackmailer. And visit takeitdown.ncm.org so that the organization can help you.
Okay, I had to stop it. The fucking cameraman keeps fucking moving the fucking camera. God damn, you only have one job. One job. Hold the fucking camera. My God, hold it still. What the fuck is this moving around back and forth and shit? Oh man, my fucking eyes. Like that shit bothers me, man. It's like Rick is having a Tim Poole moment. Yes, with the fucking cameraman from fucking Fox. Keep the fucking camera straight. It's just, it really bothers my eyes. And the thing that was going back and forth like that kind of got me a little dizzy. Oh, my goodness. Oh, boy. You only have one job. One motherfucking job. Keep the camera steady. Nah, but you like going like this and shit. You're probably jamming, listening, probably like Taylor Swift or some shit. And you're like rocking the fucking camera back and forth. My goodness gracious. Sorry about that. All right, so the blackmailer is to be blamed, not you. Report the account via the platform safety feature. Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be sending any pictures to anybody. Block the suspect, do not delete or profile, because that can be helpful in stopping the blackmailer. Takedowns. I don't know what that is. Your expired images removed from the internet. So I guess they have a site or something where you can go to take down like your image. First of all, why are you putting explicit images 17 and under? I don't understand that. 17 and under, and yet we have young as what, third graders? So you're saying 8 years old, 7 years old that are sending nude pictures on the internet, and the government isn't doing anything about it. The parents don't even know about it. Like, I don't, the internet is a very dangerous place, and I feel like kids are very young, dumb. They're young and dumb. They don't know what they're doing, and they have the device that is way too advanced for their age, and you're just giving to them so they can do their little tiki-takis and do your TikTok dance and little bullshit. Like, I'm kind of in agreement with Australia when it comes to the younglings, to take away their internet until like they're 17 or 18 years old. I'm not sure how. I think it was 16 in Australia. I'm not 100% sure. I think that law started today. All the minors are off the internet. So that's going to really kill a lot of advertising for these young individuals. So that's going to affect their market a little bit. That's just a test to see how effective it is, because we need to have, a test. And this was the test. See how well Australia does with removing the internet from the younglings, because the younglings, they're going to find a way to get back into the internet, even though they're going to go to their parents and be like, Mom, I can't, I need a phone because I need to do my TikToks and this and that. Mom, please let me use your phone. Okay, here. Do you little. So how effective that's going to be, I don't know. But let's continue with this dreadful story. And this camera guy, fire him.
Get your images or your child's images removed from the internet. Always ask for help.
Yeah.
Arthel, I mean,
fire the cameraman.
It's the holiday season. This is a tough topic to talk about, but it's so important because,
oh my God, I can't. Look at this
teenagers don't even think of this as a possibility.
Yeah, and with happening, to your point, Brian, these scumbags, because that's what they are, they're scumbags. They're targeting boys 13 to 17 years old, 13 to 17 years old. And as you know, as parents, that's when these boys are exercising their independence, right? And the parents want to encourage that. But the parents also, and to be clear, it's not the parents' fault, but the parents also have to, they have to pry into what they're doing on the internet, their activity, to make sure they're able to protect the parents. Again, it's not the parents' fault, but that's just another weight on the parents' shoulders in this day and age of raising children. And, you know, listen, there cannot be enough protection for these kids who are online. They're being preyed upon by, you know, they're innocent. They don't even realize what's happening before they're down that rabbit hole, if you will. And then you have Governor Evers, who's doing a great job signing Brady's Law, which is going to create new penalties for these evil people preying on these innocent children. And this will provide some compensation to the families, the victims' families, from the DOJ. Now, of course, everybody would trade any money, all the money in the world, to have their child back. But I hope that Governor Evers' move is an example for more to follow, more penalties, put them underneath the jail.
And I want to highlight the victims a little bit, because this can happen to any kind of teenager, any kind of, it can happen to girls, but boys have been particularly targeted. Whether you're an athlete or an academic, these predators go online, they farm the social media. If kids have a social media profile, they find out about them, who their friends are, what they're into, and then in some of these cases, they've posed like a teenage girl and drawn them into a situation. They don't even know who they're talking to. But let's talk about some of these young men. Jordan May, just 17 years old, a high school football player. He shared that love of football with his dad. He shared the love of basketball with his mom. He had planned to study athletic training in college. He enjoyed the beach, being near the water, speaking to how these kids are their parents' whole worlds, but also they have their whole lives ahead of them and plans. And then these predators get into the middle of that. Jerry, I just want to get your thoughts now as we talk about how broad a scope and how many people can be impacted.
This is heartbreaking. I mean, make no mistake about it. These kids, you know, they're just beginning their lives, right? And when I sit back and think about, okay, I'm all about prevention. I think that's a great idea. But now we are also aiding and abetting in killing childhood. These kids are not going to have a childhood increasingly because we're warning them about everything. We're educating them about things that are truly disturbing. I was talking to a friend of mine about just simple suicide prevention tips for young people. And I thought, wow, at that age, if somebody had told me that people commit suicide at that age, I wouldn't have known what to think. So, I mean, I believe that we have to pursue a lot of these remedies, but there are other implications of that as well.
Yeah, I have one more quote I want to get to. This is from the father of 15-year-old Bryce Tate. He was a victim of sextortion. He was asked to give scammers $500 or else they would release explicit photos. His dad, Adam, telling the New York Post, quote, "My son had $30 freaking dollars and he's like, sir, I'll give you my last 30. And these cowards wouldn't take it," which to me speaks to the fact that these people, these criminals, don't just want money. They want the ultimate, evil aspect of this is that they're trying to take down a person. It's almost like they'd rather do that than even take the $30 or the $500 or whatever they're trying to get.
Yes, they're using the most cruel and manipulative tactics imaginable because they know that's what is most effective, unfortunately. And they're targeting boys because, once you start sending boys nudes, they send them right back. And, these are the conversations that parents of teenagers have to have with their kids. And it sucks, but you have to check in with them always about their mental health. You have to talk to them even when they are pushing you away and don't want to have those conversations. You have to look them in the eye every day and really have a solid check-in. And you have to talk to them about their devices and things like this and what is possible in a world where there is pure evil. And that's what these criminal gangs are doing. They are with pure evil, exploiting the vulnerabilities of kids who are in the throes of a generational mental health crisis. And they know that. They know they are the easiest targets and the softest targets and the ones that are most willing to part with any money that they have in order to maintain their dignity and anonymity. And it's absolutely abhorrent. But the good news is I've talked to some of these Homeland Security agents, and this is their work day in and day out. They find these predators. They have these conversations. They pose as adolescent boys and girls and try and start these conversations and get the predators talking and sending first, because once they do that, they know that they can tag them for 10 years in federal prison, which, you know, there were a pair of brothers from Nigeria.
Nigerian brothers,
Yes.
Samuel and Samson Ogashidi.
Yeah, and they got 17 years in prison apiece. It's not enough because it is murder. They know what they're doing. They're goading people into suicide using this hideous manipulation. But as parents, we are the first line, and we have to be a little bit more aggressive in how we're playing defense on behalf of people. You know, they seem tough, but teenagers still very, very vulnerable.
Yeah, stellar points on both counts, and highlighting the fact that many of these predators are international. They're not even on American soil, and sometimes there's a lot of work to bring them to justice. And as you mentioned, kudos to Homeland Security and the FBI and everyone working on that. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-host Harris Ball.
Emily, we haven't said that in a while. All right, let's bring it back to me here, because the world is a fucking crazy place, and you know, just be careful with this, kids, and with these devices, because these devices, we're not supposed to be really having these devices, and the fact that we are using it, so a lot of dangerous things can happen. Oh no, not this shit. Okay, let's watch this next, because we're just jumping into more shit. So let's just jump right into it.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett has upended the race for U.S. Senate in Texas with an 11th hour entry into the race just before the filing deadline. As one of Congress's most outspoken Democrats, Crockett made a name for herself with her fierce opposition to Donald Trump. Now she'll face state lawmaker James Tallarico in the Democratic primary for a seat currently held by Republican Senator John Cornyn. No Democrat has won a statewide race in Texas for more than 30 years. Crockett says she thinks she can change that.
We are going to be able to get people that potentially have voted for Trump, even though I obviously am one of his loudest opponents, because at the end of the day, they vote for who they believe is fighting for them. The crossover doesn't come because you decide to sound like a Republican. The crossover comes because you make people believe that you will fight for them.
MS Now's Rosa Flores is reporting on the ground in Texas.
Well, she
Jeremy
hasn't
Wallace is a
done. She
political
hasn't done
reporter
shit
the
for
Houston
us.
Chronicle. So, Jeremy, this is not the first time Democrats have
Hey,
had high
Kayla,
hopes
what's
for
up?
flipping a seat in Texas. You and I have been there together at times, and somehow it didn't work out for the Democrats. Could this time be different?
Well, and that's what Jasmine Crockett's really banking on. She's completely taking an entirely different approach than we've seen in past elections. She's saying, look, everything we've tried before and trying to get these Democrats who could appeal heavily to the right, to the independents, forget that. I'm going to come in as a fiery attack, on these people. I'm going to punch them. I'm going to fight them. If you want a fighter in this cycle, I'm going to be that, and we're going to try to change it that way. She's asking voters to do something they typically don't do in Texas. They typically could go a little bit more pragmatic. You remember when Bernie Sanders was doing really well in Texas? The Democrats here ended up nominating Biden instead, thinking he'd be the safer, more electable choice. So now she's going to ask these same Democrats, don't worry about who you think is electable right now. Go with who you really want and let me go fight this battle.
Rosa, you had an exclusive interview with former Democratic Congressman Colin Allred, who confirmed he got out of the Senate race because of Crockett. So expand on that. What did he tell you?
Well, Chris, I want you to process this with me, because think about the last time that a politician set ego aside for the greater good. And I really mean, think about it. When I read the post by Colin Allred early yesterday morning when he was stepping out of the race, the first thing that I thought about was 2024 and President Joe Biden eventually getting out of the race. And we know how that went. So I asked Colin Allred about that. I asked, okay, so is this really not about serving in the big shiny office? Is it really about public service? Here's what he said. Take a listen.
I think one of my strengths is my humility and the fact that I genuinely want to serve. And I ran for Congress in the district where I was born and raised back in 2018, even though it was a Republican district, because that's where I was from. And we flipped that seat. We were able to hold that seat. But I ran for Senate because I'm a fourth generation Texan, and my boys are fifth generation Texans. I wanted to serve the state.
Now, back to Crockett entering this race. During a gaggle yesterday with reporters, she said that in part going into this U.S. Senate race was payback. She said, you know, Republicans gerrymandered her district, and well, in a U.S. Senate race, there are no lines, Chris. Those gerrymandered lines really don't matter, and she called it payback. Chris.
You know, Jeremy, I've been thinking a lot about this, and it fascinates me that all red dropping out really is a sort of in a microcosm, a look at where politics is today. And here's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about at a time when people are saying there's too much yelling and divisiveness in politics. You just heard it for people who don't know who he is. He's a kind of a soft-spoken, straightforward kind of guy. When people are saying the extremes are too far on the right and the left, here's a guy who's more moderate, and yet he's the one who's dropping out. Help us understand moving forward where the Texas electorate is right now.
Well, this is a huge boon for Jasmine Crockett. By him getting out of the race, he basically reestablished his home field advantage in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for Jasmine Crockett. Understand that we have about 1 million people who vote in Democratic primaries and midterm cycles, and Dallas-Fort Worth is about 20% of that electorate. She's going to have an inside track to win that, region and really benefit her on a statewide fight against James Tallarico, the Democrat in the race, who's from Austin, but that is a much smaller home base to work off of than Dallas-Fort Worth. So he's given her a really good opportunity to really kind of seize on those hometown roots and use that in the primary election.
I also want to play, Jeremy, the video that Crockett posted on social media yesterday when she revealed her Senate bid.
She's a very low IQ person.
Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding.
Now they're going to rely on Crockett. Crockett's going to bring them back.
How do you think Crockett's use of Trump's comments against her is going to play?
Well, look, it really, it tells you everything about this race, right? She's going to be making the case, I'm the fighter. But as you've heard, people are wondering, does that mean she's electable in November? That's where James Tallarico has to say, look, her fighting the Trump MAGA, base in Texas is not good, right? And it's like, there's a lot of those people in Texas, obviously. You've got to appeal to somebody in the middle or moving to the right a little bit in order to win statewide. And so that her actual campaign announcement speech is a microcosm about everything this race is about. How aggressive can you be to go against Donald Trump, yet still win over the moderates and independents you're going to need to win this state?
Rosa Flores and Jeremy Wallace, thank you both.
All right, let's keep it moving. Oh, this is from the earthquake. MSNBC's garbage. Yeah, MS Now, I don't know. It's a stupid name anyways.
建物の外壁が剥がれ落ちて中が見えてしまっています。
WWE Flammy Food. That seems pretty cool. Damn, look at this car. I bet you that person got lucky as fuck. He was like, oh my god. Car got lucky. Lucky and unlucky at the same time.
見たことない光景だったんで、何が起きたかちょっと錯乱状態でどうしたらいいか
Wow, a lot of broken glass. A lot of damage. A lot of damage. Look at that. It's snowing there. It snows in Japan. Wow, look at the headstone. It looks like a headstone broke or some kind of. It looks like a cemetery. Are you playing a game on YouTube? That's what's up. And watching me at the same time? That's awesome. Thank you for watching. Oh my god, no, now the wine. Oh, I would cry too. Ooh, some of the bottles did not break. Thank God. But oh my god, that's a mess. Ugh. But some of the bottles did not break. So that's good. Like water line broke. Yeah, they got to do a lot of repairs. You know, because it was a pretty strong earthquake. It was a 7.1, 7.2. It was first a 7.6, but after everything, they claim it's a 7.2. Still strong earthquake. But life goes on. You just gotta fix it and move forward. Wow, the whole side of the house just came down. I'm gonna have to seal that up. All right, let's bring it back to me. Yeah, you know, natural disasters like that, it's gonna be happening more often. Earth is going through a lot right now. Earth is going through a lot. You know, I want to see this video. I definitely want to see this one because I want you guys to. Let me push this back here. And we're going to analyze this video, okay? And then we're going to, in real time, give our opinions, okay? Let me just fix this. Okay, let me get rid of this. Not this. Let's move this over here. Some housekeeping. So that's what I'm doing right now. A little bit of housekeeping. And all right, let me check you guys out here. It's a good game. I bet it is. You're watching me on your phone and playing my game on my television. Oh, okay. That's what's up. That's nice. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. And Terry's like, yeah, I'm watching and cooking at the same time. Oh, that's awesome. I got two in the same household watching. I truly appreciate it, guys. That's awesome. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next story, which I want us to analyze. Okay, I haven't seen this video, so I'm popping it up. I did see Erica Kirk as the main picture. So if we're going to be seeing a video of Erica Kirk, I want us to really focus on her. Look at her expressions. What's the first thing that comes, like what you feel inside about her? So let's just pay attention to her, pay attention to the story. But if they do focus on her and she starts talking, I really want to focus on her. Okay. And then we're going to come to a conclusion at the end of the video. I may pause it once or twice because, you know, I got something to say always. So let's go ahead and watch.
Welcome back. Charlie Kirk's final book is out today. It's called Stop in the Name of God, Why Honoring the Sabbath Will Transform Your Life. It's currently #1 on Amazon. He wrote it just 1 month before his assassination. Charlie had been urging people to disconnect from technology and reconnect with what matters. Watch this.
Turn your phone off for 1 day. No contact, no social media, no work. Your mental health will improve dramatically. That is a day to go be with God. That is a day to read your Bible and be out of the busyness and the hurriedness and the anger and the noise of this world.
Erica, this theme, it connects with everybody.
It
right? We're
does.
talking about this all the time, how we can be closer to family and to friends and be off our phones. Why was this so important for Charlie?
Because he knew that it transcended any type of political label, any age group, any demographic. And Charlie was known for being a bridge builder. And this is what helped fill that generational gap between grandparents and their grandchildren or parents and their children. And he knew, being able to see it firsthand, how it impacted his family and in us. And he knew that this was something that the world needed to hear, and God did too. And he put it on his heart, and Charlie wrote it. And I know that it's going to change and impact millions of lives.
It's amazing. Let's go around. Jesse?
When we sat down together, you told me the routine.
It was the routine.
He on a sunny day, he'd stretch, he'd reflect, he'd
Go for a
read.
hike.
What was that like on those days of Sabbath?
Precious, priceless. I saw a side of my husband that the world never got to see. And that to me was so special, because that was him just being able to breathe, be able to be with the Lord, let my children climb all over him, be daddy, and get it. Yes, the world knows him as Charlie Kirk. I know him as my husband. My babies know him as daddy. And he was able to just reset, recalibrate, and say, you know what? The noise of this world can wait 24 hours. I can get back to it once I have a fresh brain and I'm rested.
I'm curious if your children are younger than the ones that I'm thinking about, but I have friends who I think would love to do this, especially as you start to get a little bit older and maybe the preteens or early teens, and they have phones.
Mm-hmm.
And parents are looking for a way to get them off their phone. It's very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have any thoughts about that in terms of what it did for your family? Even though that your children were younger, it could probably still have the same kind of effect for kids that are.
Oh, well, we're not screen time family with the children. I joke around that, yes, we did watch Charlie's show all the time. And then Bob Ross for nap-inducing moments. But it was very much so that screens that's not where our interaction is. You go to a dinner table and
she's a bad actor, you know what I mean? That's what I feel. I feel like she's a bad actress.
Half listening. So they're physically there, but they're
Her
not actually
emotions
there.
don't
So what
add
kind of
up
conversation is
to
that? And so what Charlie
her
also
feelings,
realized is the beauty and
I
true
don't know.
authentic communication that's totally lacking these days. The fact that we can sit here and all have a conversation, the 5 of us, is amazing. That's actually a rare thing at a dinner table. All of us are focusing on what each person's saying, but when you're at a dinner table in Manhattan and you have kids and family, half of the people have their phones, like it's very disconnected. So maybe more dinner tables should look like this.
Okay, I have to pause it. What do you guys feel? Let me how do you guys feel about her? First thing, I feel like she was a plant, meaning she was put in Charlie's life. Charlie didn't self-discover her like the way he thought that she just came and applied. I think she was put on to him through that like emotional. When he saw her, it's like, holy shit, she's a fucking gorgeous. And I think, they applied her to him. Because the way that she's, I mean, I know it's been what, 3 months, almost 3 months since Charlie passed away. I believe. When was the date that Charlie passed? It's not like it doesn't feel long ago. It surely doesn't. Let me see. One sec. I want to see how long ago. It's been a while. Let's see, because I was. It's been a long while. But it hasn't been that long. Yeah, it's been like, what, 3 months? Right? Yeah, 3 months. But my problem with her is, why is she letting all the craziness happen, right? Between Candace and Tim Poole and everybody acting all like like this person you see on the screen right now could help diffuse a lot of that issues, especially with Candace, right? Because like the problem is not only with TPUSA. The main problem is her. It's her. And Candace doesn't want to just blur it out, but Candace, I'm sure, got some dirt on her, legit, and is putting the pieces together, like how she did with the Macrons. I think she's doing something on Erica Kirk, and that's why Candace is really like, like Tim Pool's coming, and she's like, she got other things to do. That's what she did to Tim Pool. You know, Tim Pool's bitching and whining. Yeah, my place got shot up. I got shot up. Okay, did he call the cops? Is there video proof sound? You know, of any sound of gunfire? You know, like there has to be video. If you have security, you have to have cameras. I'm pretty sure cameras pick up sound. Like, I want to see those videos. It's been a few days already and has not displayed anything, right? I think the true match is not TPUSA. I think is Candace Owens and this lady right here. I think that's the true battle is Erica Kirk and Candace. And I can't wait for that to happen, but I hope Candace gets the opportunity to do it, because she could have really diffused a lot of this, but she's doing the media tour. She's going, talking to the media, talking to this. TP USA is trying to arrange the dates. Yeah, December 15th. That's the only, we're setting the day. We're just set the time. And Candace, we're giving you 24 hours to decide this. And we sent that email at midnight your time while she was sleeping. She woke up like 7 hours later and she checked her email, and lo and behold, you got this message from TPC whatever USA saying that, yeah, December 15, be here, be square, you got to be here, we want you in studio, you know, and we're gonna talk about this, and we're gonna have all these people here, and like, why are you dictating the whole operation, TPUSA? I'm just saying, why are you, Turning Point? That's so aggressive to begin with. Second of all, wouldn't it be better to have this conducted at a like neutral site where it's secured and you have a live audience, and you can have this recorded on both channels, Candace and Turning Point, and talk it out. And if the problem doesn't get resolved, this lady right here should be a part of the conversation. And I don't understand why she's not and I think the third person on the picture, I think that third person, if it's not Pat Bondi, is this one right here. She right here is very fishy, and something's not right with her. I'm sorry. Something's just not right. When you smell something fishy, you call it for what it is, okay? Feel the energy. Just continue listening.
Yeah, indeed.
Right.
Iris?
There's no food on the table. First of all, this is my first time meeting you, so I'd like to say I'm very sorry for your loss. That's the first thing I'd like to say. And secondly, how are the children and how are you holding up? Like your daily routine obviously is forever changed.
It is.
With all the whirlwind and everything that you're between books and speaking engagements and taking over Turning Point, like is the goal eventually to get back to where you were with your children before? Or is it just, I mean, obviously it's all new and you're still going through it, but
Right.
like,
No, it's a very fair question. It's a great question. I am now at my age having to relearn my life. It's a very fair question. My babies come with me to the office anytime that I do have to go into the office. But what is so powerful is that Charlie handpicked the leadership team at Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action. He knew exactly who needed to be in the leadership roles to get things done, because he also had his radio show and his podcast, and he was traveling on campuses doing Prove Me Wrongs. So for him, he wanted to make sure that his baby, Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action, they were running smoothly. And so he was so instrumental and intentional about who he put in those positions. So I am very blessed to have a team. I cannot do this without my team and my family. I call them my family because they are. Those staff members are not employees to me. They're family members. It is not a 9-to-5.
Family, listen to that.
Mission-driven organization.
You hear
And
that?
everyone that works there is working there because they understand the heart and soul and the DNA of Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action. They're not there for just getting a paycheck. And it's so powerful. And Turning Point USA, I need that organization just as much as this country does, because
You hear that? You heard that? There's like, you guys, I have other ears out there, you know. Did you just hear what I just heard? Yeah, she needs Turning Point more than the US does. Like, what? Like, you know why I feel like the money situation with Turning Point is true? I feel like operatives got in the middle, you know, certain pocketbooks got in the middle. I'm just saying Israel, but you know, Mossad came out a lot when I was thinking about Charlie. I always hear like Mossad a lot in my head, and I don't know if it's Charlie screaming at me to say it. I just say it because it's in my head, but something doesn't smell right. Charlie knows, like, I don't understand, like, the bullet theory, right? How does a bullet coming from this way, right? It would come in and come out, right? Hold on, let me make myself big. So if the bullet's coming this way and hits here, and then like it would come out. No, this bullet ricochets, like, I don't know how, and then goes downwards and ruptures all the like vertebrae, and his heart explodes or some shit. Like, how the bullet, like the magic bullet, how does it go like one direction and then go downward and continue like momentum downward? Wouldn't that type of bullet from that type of would go piercing through and come right out, and then you have coming out? Yeah, something tells me, because it wasn't that far of a shot. Like, something's not right. Something's just not right. And then the whole investigation and what Candace been saying, and Candace has been doing a lot of reporting on it, you know, because that was her friend. It was her good friend. What does Turning Point have to lose? And I could say the same thing for Candace. What Candace has to lose? She risks herself every day. Turning Point, they don't care. They the only thing they care is those money. Keep that money rolling in. Keep it rolling in. It's a money making, like, keep that money, donations, keep bringing it to us. You know, like, next thing is like, what has Turning Point has done for you, for any of us? I mean, Turning Point to me is not as like a huge organization or anything like that. I mean, I understand what they're trying to do, and sign up and get more Republicans and get more people to vote in and all that. That's fine and dandy, but how is that any difference than, like, I don't know, Black Lives Matter with that organization? Chain of Truth is here. The train of truth is here. I don't know, Turning Point. You guys are very weird. I think someone manipulated them, and the whole thing is they're all in it. And if they get caught, they all get caught. You know what I mean? That's the type of operation that's going to have to go down. And I hope people are really paying attention to what they're doing and how they're talking and how their operation is run. It's just giving me like a Ponzi scheme, like a fraud, like kind of like the church. You know how that minister from Tampa got arrested? That like that type of money laundering operation. That's what I'm feeling. All right, let's go back to Eric Kirk.
They are my family, and I know that what my husband started was founder led, and now it's vision led, and we are all locked in. It's very powerful.
I wanted to ask you, so I do have kids around the same age as yours, and I've been overwhelmed by how you have managed this and the grace that you've shown. And in particular, as someone, I'm a Reformed Jew, not particularly religious, but I was really struck by you saying just a few days after Charlie was murdered that you forgave.
Yeah, there's still questions, no answers.
Tyler Robinson, the alleged murderer, I think we're still supposed to say. Can you talk to us about how you managed to do that? Because that seems like the number one life lesson that I would love to get from someone, how you could find that in yourself. And you're modeling a Christianity that is so inspirational to me, especially as someone who's not particularly religious.
No, that's very kind. I appreciate that. It's again, I've said this and I'll say it again, that was something I heavily prayed on. I'm not going to say something that I don't believe in, and I wouldn't expect anyone else to. And I wouldn't expect someone to understand my position, especially with something that's as horrific and evil. But at the same time, hate is very powerful from the standpoint of it's all consuming. It will deteriorate. It will tear you apart. I know they say it's like drinking a poison. It impacts you more than the other person. And if I had any ounce of hate in my heart, the Lord would not be able to use me. I also want to be able to show people that, yes, okay, you forgive someone. You don't forget what they did. It's not a weakness. It's a form of a strength to know, okay, Lord, I am surrendering to you. You have a choice. Am I going to stand in the corner, be in fetal position and crying, or I'm going to stand on my 2 feet by the Lord's strength, be able to say, Lord, give me grace today. I don't know how you're going to use it, but I know you'll use it for your glory. I'm here. Use me. Shine the light of where I'm supposed to go. And please, every single day, give me grace, heal me, Lord. And it's just a repetitive thing. Faith is just a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And I pray that everyone understands that your life might be the only Bible someone reads. So be authentic with it.
Greg is not here. He has the sniffles, Erica. But Harold is also not here. This is Jessica.
I don't know.
Jesse,
It doesn't convince
and
me.
Greg are in
She
a
doesn't
Bible
convince
study
me.
group together.
Are they really?
Because of Charlie Kirk.
Okay, that is really cool.
So every morning,
That is really cool.
every morning we wake up
She
and
sounds
we read
really
a passage
dumb.
and then we text about it.
Okay.
And it is because of Charlie.
I love that.
Wait a minute.
You're not invited. I'm not.
I don't. No, I lift weights in the morning.
You can still get Bible verses when you're lifting.
You mentioned them, but you didn't put yourself in. But yet you're reading the texts. So you're in the group too.
No, I'm in the group. I said Jesse. I spoke of myself in the third person.
Which is annoying.
I'm sorry.
I speak in third person, not you. We've discussed it. It's in my contract. Tyrus doesn't like that.
Have you been hearing anecdotes about that? This is how Charlie impacted me. I'm reconnecting with the Lord.
It is so powerful. People that are buying Bibles for the first time, going back to church in
I don't know,
years,
man. I don't
calling
know.
their
She's
family
not.
members and
It's not.
apologizing
It's
or
just
saying, "Hey,
using the
can we
church, you
somehow
know.
bridge this, heal this." It's powerful. And Charlie every single day on his way into work would text people Bible verses. And he just wanted to remind people that this is what it's all about. It's about your life here is so short. So are you going to use your short time here on earth to make this place better, or are you going to make it worse? Are you going to be a
People make
solution, or are you
mistakes
going to
every
be an
day.
additional problem?
They're not
And
making
so
it
every
better.
day he wanted to help people remember, okay, when I message you, it's to get your mind right and your heart right in the right heart space. You're going to start off your day with a Bible verse, even if you're not Christian, even if you're not Jewish, even if you don't believe in anything, at least you're reading something that is true and beautiful, and it gets you set on the right pace to have an amazing day and maybe bless someone else along the way.
I think we have time for one more. So I just picked in this chapter 11 begins, it's called Now It's Your Turn to Act. But right before that, one of the lines that Charlie wrote says, the Sabbath is not a burden to bear.
Yeah, it's
a
been
grace
3
to
months.
embrace. And he says in chapter 11, I write this with as much humility as possible. If I can carve out a Sabbath, so can you. And he talks about the demands on his time. So for people out there who are thinking, that sounds great, but I have so much to do.
I don't know. Did she even read the
Make
book?
adjustments and not excuses. That's what he would say. And I second that. I second that.
Love that. So stop in the name of God, honor the Sabbath. Why honoring the Sabbath will transform your life. I shouldn't shorten it. #1 on Amazon. Congratulations.
Why does she has
sell
that
now.
like that? I don't know.
You can go to 45books.com to get a copy
Gives
of
me
Charlie's
that
book.
look.
Click here to subscribe.
Let me bring it back.
What would you say?
That. So stop in the name
Like-
of God, honor the Sabbath. Why honoring the Sabbath will transform your life. I shouldn't shorten it. #1 on Amazon. Congratulations.
Okay, so yeah, what do you guys think? You know, she has a lot of skeletons in her closet. She doesn't want to face Candace Owens because she could have diffused all this a long time ago, especially with Candace. Because remember, Candace was part of Turning Point. She was probably like one of the founders, like one of the beginning, and like individuals at Turning Point. A really good friend of Charlie's. Definitely, Candace knew Charlie more than she known Erica. Why do I hear she's an agent? She's an agent. Who is the agent? Erica. I don't know. Would you be smiling like that after a tragic death of the most important person supposedly in your life, your husband? Will you be rocking a smile like that after someone assassinated? Nah. You're looking to wear those leather pants again. Show those curves off. Like a good little church girl, right? Something about her is not right. She has a lot of skeletons in her closet. A lot. She knew about the money. She knew. And now that this book is out, it's just another paycheck. I don't know. I don't trust Turning Point. Never did, never will. That I could agree with Candace on. But this person right here, I need red flags. Well, my dragon's wearing a Santa Claus little hat. Here's the dragon. I don't know if you guys notice, but my dragon here, he got a Santa hat. He's a Santa dragon. He's a good dragon. You know, I've been thinking about that, because it's just the way the little clues, the little guy, like, doing little, like, go ahead and take the shot type of thing. Because I spoke upon it when I saw the videos, and I done my videos on it on YouTube, and they're like baseball calls, like take the shot, and sure enough, when they saw the take the shot, poof, and then they're like acting all surprised, and then wait a couple of seconds, and then go towards him, and so forth, and then his guy, his manager, just walks off talking on a cell phone, like, yeah, the hit was done, like walking with his device. He was like this, and he was like just walking, and walking really fast. Crazy how my camera keeps zooming in on like really important moments. Just weird. Charlie, are you here? Charlie, talk to me, man, because those spirits, they could come across here. I could really bring in Charlie if I wanted to. But then be like, oh, you're crazy. You're using Charlie. No, Charlie comes to me. I could bring Charlie. But Masad keeps screaming out really loud in my head. Like, it definitely was a hit. It was definitely orchestrated and premeditated, pre-planned. I think that Tyler Robinson, allegedly is a fall guy. It's just a fall guy. Because you know why I say that? They have not shown any bullets from what they've recovered. And they're trying to say, oh yeah, this is the rifle. This is the bullets. And we haven't seen what was scribbled onto those bullets. We haven't even seen a shell casing. Like, no one's spoken about a shell casing from the weapon. Was that weapon really the weapon that actually shot Charlie, or was it a different weapon? And the one that was on the roof was just a fall person to, like, get them out of our scent, send them away, chase this guy while the true killer got away. Like, just makes you wonder. Because I have not seen or heard anything about ballistics. I haven't heard anything about the bullet inside Charlie. If it was removed or what was in there. Why there's no pictures of the bullet? Why is there no like documentation or ballistic tests that could like determine if that was the weapon that was used at the scene? Why have we not seen a coroner's report? Why Erica is holding, like, Erica right here, why is she not releasing the autopsy report? You got nothing to hide, right, bitch? Then release it. Many questions. Many questions. Just like the Butler shooting, shortly after the FBI scrubbed the crime scene. Yep. The university, like a day later, they started pouring concrete over the area. Why would you do that? To hide the evidence? Like, I don't get it. Tampering with evidence. That whole scene was tampered right after Charlie's dead. His body in the car. They're driving him away, and they're tampering with evidence. No police officers to no security to gather and protect the scene. You had these two idiots grabbing the SD card from the camera suspiciously, while another one's like the lookout guy looking around, and he's trying to grab the chip from the camera and then gets the chip, hands it off to the guy. The guy goes and just takes off running. So we're not gonna say that's not suspicious. I mean, you didn't see that? I don't trust her. And neither should you. All right. Let's make it nice and big for me. And let's see what we got next here. Actually, let me check something out. Let me see if there's anything going on. Which we do got some stuff going on. So let me set everything up because we got some good ones. But let me just set everything up. Okay. Let's go ahead and make this nice and big. Resize it. So we do have an add-on. Yeah, we got an add-on. Let's see. Just give me one more minute. Just going through my channels here, see if there's anything. But how was your day today? Oh no. Let's see. Okay. Let's see, what's this about? All right. No. All right. What? Okay. Well, there's not much. I mean, Australian social media ban for kids under the age of 16 takes effect. So it's already taken effect. So any minors under the age of 16 is prohibited from being on the internet. Maybe we can check out this really short report. It's a really short one. Let me set it up. Which is, to me, I don't care. I mean, it's safer the kids to be off those devices. Those devices don't bring nothing but horrible problems. The internet is not for everyone. Anything put into the internet can be manipulated. I always say this all the time. Anything connected to the internet can be manipulated. And they can manipulate your mind. They can manipulate your pictures. They can do so much harm. And yet people are so naive to just not care. All right, let's take a look at this real quick. Let's put the start back here. Let's put up the volume. And let's watch.
Well, starting today, Australia will be enforcing a world first. It's a law banning children under the age of 16 from using social media. Now, government leaders say they
I think it could be 18 plus. I agree,
harmful
Terry.
content, harmful people, and addictive algorithms. Now, 2 teens are fighting this law in court. They're arguing their right to political expression.
Social media is like one of the
That's
few
wild. I
ways that
know.
we
You gotta
actually
create
get
this
out there. We actually like are able to express what we feel and things like that.
Australia is requiring tech companies take reasonable steps to keep kids off of their platforms, even threatening fines in the tens of millions of dollars.
I mean, I hope it works. I really do hope it works. All right, let's continue here with Jason A. So let's watch some Jason A.
A lot of progress has been made with respect to Gaza and just about everything else we touch. Just yesterday, the United Nations Security Council formally adopted my peace plan and officially endorsed the Board of Peace. This is a board like no other. It will have the heads of major countries, I think all of the major countries. I hope Your Highness will be on the board. You'll accept, I hope. But the Board of Peace will be something that's never even been thought of before. And it's covering Gaza, but it'll end up covering large portions of the world. And I was honored to be chosen the chair of that Board of Peace. And I think you'll see something that nobody's ever seen before in terms of the status of the board. There will never be a board like the board that we're going to be announcing. Everybody wants to be on the board, and it'll end up being quite a large board because it'll be the heads of every major country. And the United Nations passed it, I guess unanimously, you can say. China, which was against it, took a pass, didn't vote against it, and Russia, which was against it, didn't vote against it. So we appreciate it because one negative vote and it doesn't happen. So people were shocked to see that it was approved, and that was a great honor. It's a great honor for me, I will tell you. I think it's something like nobody's ever even imagined. So it's called the Board of Peace, and watch for it because it's going to do some fantastic things.
President Trump has proposed a so-called Board of Peace to temporarily oversee Gaza, but it's still unclear who would be on the board and what exactly the board would do. By the way, former British Prime Minister Tony Blair was suggested for a leading role, but now that's in doubt. One thing is clear, though. We know President Trump says he will chair the board. So could this concept be a viable path forward for the region?
And the United Nations Security Council has endorsed Donald Trump's 20-point plan for Gaza, which outlines a path to an independent Palestinian state. The UN resolution allows an international stabilization force to enter the Strip and the establishment of a board of peace that would be led by the US president.
We welcome these next steps and we continue to back in the ceasefire, which is so important to peace and stability in the Middle East.
President Trump called it a moment of true historic proportions, but Hamas has rejected the plan. Russia and China abstained from the vote, but did not use their veto powers.
By the name of the beast. See, John Graphic describes this government, this entity that he's going to rule over and rule from. It has 7 heads. And later on in chapter 17, it says the head and 7 heads, there's 7 mountains, which I find is interesting. It has 10 horns, which refers to nations or dominions, we're told later on. It has 7 crowns, which means it has leaders or rulers that go from 10 down to 7 and ultimately become consolidated into the power of one man. These rulers will give all of their power and authority to this one man who is nothing else but a placeholder, a puppet for Satan. So we're told these things about this entity that's coming, that's going to rise out of the ruins and the remnants of the Roman Empire. His origins will be from ancient Rome, but it'll be a confederation of 10 dominions or kingdoms, that it will have multiple leaders, but they will be reduced down to one leader who will be empowered to rule over all the rest, and his rule will be a despotic, totalitarian, authoritarian rule. And as a consequence, lots of bad things happen on planet Earth. You see, John said there were three signs. The first sign was the woman that we talked about in verse 1. Second sign is this beast. The third sign is the 7 last plagues that will fall upon the earth, that we'll get to, I'm figuring, by January. But if you view all of this chronologically and ontologically, the final empire appears to be an outgrowth or a progeny of ancient Rome. And this, for many years, led many people to identify it with the Roman Catholic Church, because the Roman Catholic Church is one of the last clear emblems of the Roman government, the Roman Empire, because even many of the terms that are used to identify the leadership and the facilities and so many things within the Roman Church had just simply been subsumed by the Roman Catholic Church. I mean, Pontius Maximus was the title of the high priest of Jupiter, and now it's the title that they use for the Pope. And many, many other things like that. The Pantheon, which used to be built to the Pantheon of the gods, is now a church that has the statues of all the saints, where it used to have the statues of the various gods, and so forth and go on. I mean, I could go on with this for hours, and so I'll save it for next week. But to call it the Roman Church is kind of incomplete and is very problematic, because I think it's kind of a red herring. We miss the bigger import of what's going on. You see, others counter, I think, even more correctly. They say, well, the Western Roman Empire collapsed in 476 AD when the Visigoths came in and set up a shop. And it's true, it did. Rome stopped being the center of the Roman world. And the Eastern Empire, which was where all the wealth and the power actually had moved to Constantinople under Emperor Constantine, often referred to as Byzantium, because it was named after the place where the new Constantinople was built, which is today Istanbul. It fell to the Turks in 1453 AD. But what gets lost in the datings and the history is that Rome's influence is still very much with us, having largely shaped the very cultural foundations of modern Western civilization. Not only in Europe, but particularly throughout what we would call the Western world, which includes the Americas, the continent of America, all of Europe, and certainly even places like Australia, New Zealand. When America's founding fathers sought to create their new nation, they turned to the reliability and practicality of the Roman Republic. The founders drew inspiration from Rome's symbolism in everyday life of government, philosophy, military strategies, religious tolerance. The Roman Republic may have fallen, but her influence lives on through the heartbeat of the United States of America. That some of the founding fathers literally referred to the USA as being the new Rome. The point is that Rome was more than an empire, it was an idea. 4 times John talks about this. He said, I saw a beast rising in chapter 13 out of the sea. That means coming out of humanity. That the beast is I believe, a person. Some people think it's a system, a government, but these things are melded together. But he seems to be an individual having 7 heads, 10 horns, and his horns 10 crowns. But most importantly, it says, and on his head are words, names of blasphemy. That his entire orientation of this new governmental agency is to overthrow the kingdom of God, to resist it and to take over. Now, all of this stuff would be little more than cryptic scribblings were it not for the book of Daniel and the visions that God gave to him. And it's kind of interesting because when you come to the end of the book of Revelation, John is told, don't seal the book because it's for the time of the end. In other words, it's supposed to be understandable. It's supposed to be read. It's supposed to be able to look at it and see this transpiring within the world. But at the end of Daniel's book, which predates it by 700 years, it said, seal these things and don't let people understand them, in other words, until you come to the end. And so we have kind of a cipher really given to us. Daniel is a kind of a cipher for Revelation. We can look at what God said in Daniel and we can understand more clearly what he's talking about in Revelation.
Where do you see this board? This board will blow every board away. And I believe we're going to be lucky enough to have the Crown Prince be a very distinguished member of the board. But we're going to have the heads of, it's The Board of Peace, and I think it will go long beyond Gaza and the Middle East. I can see that going long beyond. There'll never be anything like this in terms of, I know you all have wonderful boards, but this is going to blow it away. It's going to blow them all away, and it's going to do some really good. So in the coming months, the Crown Prince and I are going to ensure that the ceasefire and everything else that's going on that's so positive in the Middle East, hard to believe. I mean, I've grown up, peace in the Middle East. I used to hear peace, peace, peace in the Middle East, but never happened. All the momentum now is toward a great, glorious, and lasting peace. And our commitment to fulfilling the 20-point plan we developed together will be the crucial foundation for achieving that bright future. And it's being worked on right now as we speak. And we're actually in stage 3 and 4. It's not going to be, just divided down so simply. We can be long advanced on some of the things that we say we're going to do. We can take them out of order in a positive way. And we've shown how it can be done with responsible nations like the people in this room, these incredible people in this room, setting aside their differences, seeking common ground, and pursuing a better world for all of us. In that spirit, it's my dream that we all get together and enjoy our life. And we're going to put some of you on the Board of Peace. Everybody wants to be on the Board of Peace. They said, would you be the chairman? I say, I'm pretty busy too. But whatever we can do to have peace in the Middle East, it's worth it. But everybody wants to go on the Board of Peace, so we're probably going to enlarge it. We're going to get, and the leaders, the top people, the top leaders, they want to be on the Board of Peace. A beautiful term. At first I wasn't sure, and then I realized how beautiful it is.
And for peace that endures, and for a Middle East reborn. Mr. President, I thank you.
I thank the representative of the United States for the statement. I shall put the draft resolution to the vote now. With those in favor of the draft resolution contained in document S/2025.
Okay, let's just stop for a second. let's not like overlook the elephant in the fucking room. Okay, let's make this nice and big here. What the fuck is this back here? Look at this portrait. Look at this portrait. Look at the symbolism. Look at the blood. That looks like blood. Red coming down. What is this? What is this? What is this? What's going on in this picture? And this is what they're showing to the world. Like, all these people are representatives supposedly of the world, right? This looks like a fucking ritual going on right now. Even with the setup here. Like, what the fuck is this? This is so fucking awkward. I just noticed this back here, and I was like, what in the fuck is this? Like, what is this? This is like, it doesn't look good. I'm telling you right now, it does not look positive. And it looks like a lot of blood.
/748. Please raise their hand. Those against? Abstentions? The result of the voting is as follows. 13 votes in favor, 0 votes against, 2 abstentions. The draft resolution has been adopted as Resolution 280 3,
Yeah, more papers, more script.
2025, or the draft resolution.
Then look how she grabbed them. What the fuck are we? Oh my god! Oh, they're infiltrated our even in the UN. Look at this shit. You saw how she. That's the president of the UN, and the way she grabbed him, she forcefully like grabbed him. What is and then that portrait? What is going on? We are all being lied to. Everything is an illusion. Everything is not real. Everything is what it should be, and this is hell. We live in hell. This is crazy. That was a crazy move. That was crazy move. The way she pulled him, I was not expecting that. But look, I'll rewind it. Look at her. She has this paper. Like, read the script, right? Read the script. He's just like the puppet. Like, listen, puppet. Read the script, puppet. That's all it is. It's just a fucking script. It's. Oh my god. I don't know. What did I do wrong? That's all I have to say. But everything that I'm witnessing is for a reason. Everything's done for a reason. All right, let's keep watching. The way she grabs him is what. Oh my god! Look.
Draft resolution.
Read this
And I
page.
give the floor to those members of the council
Okay.
who wish to make
I got another
statements
page for you.
after the vote.
Look, here's this page. Read this page. Look, she's just passing pages.
I give the floor to the representative of the United States.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to the council members
Uh-huh.
for this historic and constructive resolution. Thank you for joining us in charting a new course in the Middle East for Israelis and Palestinians and all the people of the region alike.
That it was a crazy video, Jason. Thank you so much. Jason A. What the fuck did I just witness there? What did I witness? And that mural that they had. It didn't look friendly. There was a lot of blood, it looked like, in that mural. And why would they give Trump the peace prize? Right? I know that I know FIFA's coming, the World Cup is coming, but why would you give it to Trump before the World Cup, and why not after the World Cup? You know, because something non-peaceful is going to happen at the FIFA World Cup. Yeah, I already know. That's why I tell people be careful going to these events, because you don't know who's the one and where it's going to happen. You know, I would be careful going to any of these like events with a lot of people, because they're already in here. The operatives, they're in our country already. Their sleeper cells already in here. And the fact that they just blend in like a chameleon, it's wild. All right, let's continue on with another episode from Jason A. Let's put up the volume.
to the governor. Samantha Fulnecki is a psychology junior who says she received a 0 grade for citing the Bible in her opinion-based essay on gender binary labels.
Samantha says that she's been receiving hate comments on social media for citing God as a source in her essay, but she's staying strong.
My main goal in this is to encourage other Christians to stand up for their beliefs.
Samantha Fulnecki says she received a perfect grade on every assignment in the online course she says is taught by 2 teaching assistants until this one.
I didn't know that the TA was transgender or about his personal beliefs or anything like that. I just did the assignments and turned them in and went about my day. So there hadn't been any tension in the past until we were asked to do an assignment over this topic.
That's right. Organizers tell me they put this protest together to stand up for academic integrity, calling on the university to put the grad student back in the classroom. Meantime, Turning Point USA students here on campus continue to stand with that student, Samantha Fulnecki. 2 sides of the University of Oklahoma's essay controversy, clashing on the flagship campus Friday. An essay on gender using the Bible as its base was graded with a 0 by a transgender graduate instructor. The author, junior Samantha Fulnecki, says she was targeted for her religious beliefs and filed a formal complaint. The instructor is now on leave for the investigation. The university says the 0 won't count toward her final grade. Supporters of the instructor say the grade was about guidelines, not religion.
It's not discrimination. It really is accountability. You need to do the job. You need to do the work.
We spoke with a classmate off camera who completed the same assignment.
Citing the Bible and not using a source is inherently plagiarism, so it should be a report to academic affairs.
A short walk to the South Oval put protesters face to face with Turning Point USA members, standing with Fulnecki.
Yeah, we have to hold these teachers accountable.
Their president calls this an attack on Christianity.
She met the requirements. She did not deserve a 0. If she wanted to take points off because she didn't clearly state any empirical sources, then take some points off, but not an entire to be a complete 0.
She says school administration decided not to change the 0 on the assignment, but it won't be counted towards her final grade. Now the student who's Comanche, hoping to be a pediatrician in a Native American hospital, is receiving both praise and hate from the masses.
A lot of people have taken things from the Bible and twisted it against me, and just saying things about like how I'm going to hell and my judgment will await me one day.
Fulnecki has caught the attention of the national spotlight and the attention of the Oklahoma Freedom Caucus.
It's about a state-funded, taxpayer-funded institution allowing their faculty members to abridge or impede a student's right to express their faith.
The teaching assistant says Fulnecki did not provide empirical evidence to back her claims using a proven psychological scientific methodology. Now the TA is put on paid administrative leave, and Fulnecki says they will not grade her work in the future.
I pointed out that I didn't say anywhere that I needed evidence, and his response was, no, that's the grade you deserve.
The paper was a reaction to an article about gender roles in society. She says she has received 100s on all her other papers for the class this semester.
And I write them all the same, all the exact same. The TA has never had a problem with how I write my papers in this class, so it has nothing to do with title or grammar or how I write or anything like that. It has to do with me talking about God in it and my stance on gender.
Fulnecki received support on Wednesday at a luncheon, including virtually from former state superintendent Ryan Walters.
I know my friend Samantha is there. What a rock star she is. What an absolute American hero, standing up for her Christian faith against these radical leftists that continue to try to force wokeism on this next generation.
But not everyone disagrees with the grade she was given.
I believe this situation was very poorly handled by Samantha herself. I don't believe this is religious persecution at all, but rather academic accountability.
My first reaction was kind of that she wasn't under religious discrimination. I felt like the S didn't even provide in-text citations to prove her opinion. And I just think that if I turned in the same assignment, I would have received a 0 as well.
There is a march planned for Friday at noon here at OU in support of the teaching assistant who graded the assignment. Fulnecki was also graded on a discussion post. According to TPUSA OU, Fulnecki cited the Bible throughout her essay to support her claims that eliminating gender in society would be, quote, detrimental because that would put people, quote, farther from God's original plan for humans. Fulnecki for help.
So in that email, she sent it to me and many others, and had voiced her concerns in that email about being unjustly graded by her psychology instructor. So it was for a 2000 level psychology class. And so I read through all of that stuff, and I did respond to her, letting her know that, that I would have written the paper a little bit differently.
Barksdale walked us through the grading criteria for the reaction paper.
10 points was appointed if student assessed whether the student has argued that the student didn't deserve a 0 for that because she at least partway met that. Reaction content.
The weird pressure.
And Mel states, does the article provide a reaction, reflection, discussion of some aspect of the article rather than a summary? I would contend that the student met that criteria more than 50%.
Barksdale says the clarity of writing aspect of the criteria is where he personally would be a little more critical. He says while he himself wouldn't have given the paper an A, it did not deserve a 0.
This paper was soliciting her feelings. This paper was soliciting her reaction. This paper was soliciting her discussion on this topic. So I feel that the instructor was completely unjust in giving the student a 0. This paper did not earn a 0 grade. And I feel that this 0 was a punitive grade based on the instructor's insertion of her own or his, however they identify, own personal feelings in this.
And we want the university to just affirm that academic standards will not be overridden by religious or political pressure. We want to know that students can feel that the university will choose the academic rigor and academic standards over giving into, say, the sort of media storm.
The foundation also argues Fulnecki didn't complete the assignment, which was to respond to an article about how people are perceived based on societal expectations of gender.
Instead, she wrote an essay that reads more like a sermon, just talking about her own personal religious beliefs. She refers to the idea that there are multiple genders as demonic. She ends her essay talking about her prayer for the world.
The organization is also concerned that the university's action to suspend the instructor is already setting a bad precedent.
The fact that Oklahoma has taken this so seriously actually is kind of pro-religion, and is a step too far for what a public university, which needs to respect religious neutrality, should be doing.
Now, State Senator Shane Jett is demanding a meeting with the OU president for what he calls a war on faith on this campus.
Very, very weak, very weird. Like, why would a school like that would give a grade 0, right? I mean, shit, they give you points for just signing your name and getting the correct date. But her whole essay just got thrown out because a transgender faculty or whoever teacher didn't like what she wrote and decided to like that's just as uncalled for. And the fact that she has like perfect grades and she's a full like A student and she does everything. And this is the only blemish that they try to push on her. Yeah, you just made her famous. That's all you guys did. Was just made her a little famous. It's this world is very, very weird. Have you noticed? Like everything, like it's opposite. What's good is bad, and what's bad is good. You can't speak up or contradict anything because if you don't follow their narrative, then you're no good and you get in trouble. I'm like, what the fuck am I getting in trouble for? It's like, it's common sense, but people don't understand common sense anymore. People are just hypnotized. That's the biggest problem. America is hypnotized. We're stuck. We're stuck in a hypnosis state. I'm sorry, guys. We're hypnotized. I'm not. I fucking woke up when I fucking broke my neck. I ended up with a fucking concussion and traumatic brain injury and, broken fucking neck. It crushed two of my vertebrae in my fucking neck, my discs in my neck. Two of them got completely crushed. So lucky to be fucking alive. Okay, congratulations, Rick. Yeah, but I gotta deal with the fucking world unplugged, and it's just sad to see, and to watch, and everyone's just out for themselves, and it's like, all right, go survive, and don't care, just make it to the top, anyways. You could cheat on the way up, or you can do it legit. Either way, it's a race. Are you ready? Get set? No, I don't think so. I ain't playing that shit. Let's go ahead and go to the final 2 episodes of the night. And tonight is registered and reserved for Tyson De La Cruz. So let's go ahead and pop this on and let's watch.
We formed a weaponization working group again to be able to go after a lot of these abuses of power.
America, we just got a smoking gun that proves the deep state corruption goes all the way to the top of the Obama administration. Paul Campo, who served as Obama's deputy chief of the DEA's Office of Financial Operations, the guy literally in charge of stopping money laundering, has been indicted for laundering $750,000 for the Jalisco New Generation cartel and agreed to launder $12 million more. But here's the most explosive part. This happened while Tulsi Gabbard is now exposing how Obama's director of national intelligence, James Clapper, manufactured fake intelligence about Russia to justify spying on Trump. The same administration that weaponized intelligence against Trump was running the DEA with an official who was secretly working for designated terrorist organizations. This is the deep state that Tulsi is systematically dismantling, and Campo's indictment proves everything we've been saying about Obama-era corruption. What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. The deep state isn't a conspiracy theory anymore. It's Obama officials working for cartels, manufacturing intelligence to spy on political opponents. Let me bring you guys up to speed what Tulsi Gabbard uncovered about the Obama administration's systematic corruption, because this sets the stage for understanding Campo's indictment.
Yeah, it is a great day and a great victory on the side of the American people and the Constitution, and yet again, shining a light on one of the other forms of weaponization of the government against President Trump and ultimately against the American people. As you pointed out, this lawfare happened throughout the course of his candidacy and running for president.
Tulsi just explained how the Obama administration weaponized the government against Trump throughout his 2024 candidacy, using lawfare to try to take away the American people's right to choose their president. This is the same administration that had Paul Campo running the DEA financial operations.
The deep state, unfortunately, has existed within our government and within the intelligence community for much longer than it precedes President Obama. It precedes Hillary Clinton.
Now, if you're not familiar with it, here is the bombshell. Tulsi reveals that James Clapper, Obama's director of national intelligence, has a history of manufacturing fake intelligence. He was involved in creating the Iraq WMD lies under Bush. Then under Obama, he manufactured the fake Russia intelligence, claiming Putin wanted to help Trump get elected in 2016.
This was politically motivated weaponization. And the fact that James Clapper was President Obama's director of national intelligence at that time, And then you go back, more than 20 years prior to that, when James Clapper himself wrote in his book that his fingerprints were all over that fake Iraq WMD intelligence assessment.
Then under Obama, he did the exact same thing with the Russia hoax, creating intelligence that didn't exist to justify spying on Trump. Now, let me tell you about Paul Campo, because his career trajectory shows how the deep state actors rise through the ranks while secretly working against American interests. Campo spent 25 years as a DEA special agent, raising to become deputy chief of the Office of Financial Operations in February 2013. Right in the middle of Obama's second term. In this role, he oversaw more than $17 million in DEA funding and was responsible for worldwide money laundering operations. Think about the irony here. The guy in charge of stopping money laundering was secretly planning to launder millions and millions of dollars to terrorist cartels. He represented the DEA before Congress, the banking industry, money service businesses, and the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, and the U.S. Treasury. He had access to the most sensitive financial intelligence in government. Campo retired from the DEA in 2016 and immediately funded Global Financial Consultants, which provided quote unquote in-depth financial consulting services to financial institutions. He even maintained his security clearance after leaving government service. According to the indictment, starting in December 2024, just about a year ago, Campo and his associate Robert Sensi began meeting with confidential informants who was posing as a member of the Jalisco New Generation cartel while working with law enforcement. Let me break down exactly what Campo was caught doing, because the details of this indictment are absolutely damning here. During meetings with the undercover informant, Campo and Sensi discussed money laundering, drug trafficking, drug manufacturing, and providing firearms and explosives devices to the CJNG, a cartel that the U.S. Department of State has designated as a foreign terrorist organization. Sensi told the informant that Campo has been in charge of the DEA's financial operations and had connections within the agency, including its top leadership. He claimed Campo could launder narcotics proceeds and provide sensitive DEA information about sources and ongoing investigation. Campo and Sensi agreed to launder money for the cartel by converting cash into cryptocurrency and investing it into real estate. They also agreed to explore procuring chemical drones and military-grade weapons, including AR-15s, semi-automatic rifles, M4 carbines, M16 rifles, grenade launchers, and rocket-propelled grenades. But here's what they actually did. Campo laundered approximately $750,000 for the cartel by converting cash into cryptocurrency. The cartel also paid for about 220 kilograms of cocaine, which Campo understood had been delivered to the United States for distribution. And Mr. Campo had agreed to launder up to $12 million in total. He was just getting started when federal agents arrested him. Now let me show you how Tulsi Gabbard is systematically rooting out these deep state actors and demanding accountability.
You came in with a very clear mandate of taking on the rampant weaponization, politicization of the intelligence community and federal law enforcement, experiencing yourself, the deep state abusing their power as they have against you, your family, and so many people.
She declassified over a half a
You know,
million
she came from the
documents that had
Democratic
never been
Party,
seen
but I
by the
kind of like
American
her.
people. And she formed a weaponization working
I like her
group
more
to
than Pat
support the
Boundy.
accountability that's coming under Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Yes, without a doubt. There are so many areas that we have just started to shine a light on in places that have never seen the light.
Tulsi promises there's much more declassification coming. The American people deserve to know the truth, and that transparency is what leads to actual accountability and real change.
The criminal referral that I made to the Department of Justice around President Obama's directed intelligence assessment that, as we said before, created something that was not there. This was the foundation of the Russia hoax. And it really was the document, again, ordered by President Obama, carried out willingly and excitedly by John Brennan and James Clapper and others.
We're talking about the investigations, the impeachment, the surveillance, and the harassment. Now, let me connect all these dots, because Campo's indictment is just one piece of a much larger pattern of the Obama-era corruption. You have James Clapper manufacturing fake intelligence about Russia to justify spying on Trump. You have John Brennan eagerly participating in this scheme. And you have entire intelligence communities weaponized against a political opponent. At the same time, you have Paul Campo, Obama's deputy chief of DEA financial operations, secretly planning to work for a terrorist cartel while having access to the most sensitive financial intelligence in the government.
Secondly, bring about reforms to the intelligence community to make sure that we have the most effective and efficient and focused workforce that's really working on bringing about the priorities you have laid out in ensuring our country's security.
Tulsi is now focused on domestic threats from both Islamic terrorists and foreign terrorist organizations, many of whom were led across the borders under the Biden administration. The CJNG that Campo was working with is exactly the kind of terrorist organization that's been exploiting our open borders.
Well, Larry, I'm not at all naive to, again, what we just talked about, how deeply entrenched the deep state actors are. And when we talk about the deep state actors, it's a term that's commonly used. Maybe folks don't always know who or what we're referring to. What I'm referring to are those who sit within our government, yes, within the intelligence community. But I can tell you, as I speak to my colleagues in the Department of Justice and the FBI and these other agencies, there are deep state actors across the federal government. And they are people who, like Vindman, for example, who believe that their actions, their views are more important than those of elected leaders, duly elected by the American people, like the President of the United States.
Now, let me tell you about the charges Campo is facing, because this shows the severity of his absolute betrayal. Campo and Sensi were charged with conspiracy to commit narco-terrorism, conspiracy to distribute and possess with intent to distribute controlled substances, conspiracy to commit money laundering, and conspiracy to provide material support to a foreign terrorist organization. They will appear before a judge in New York who ordered them detained without bail. Both pled not guilty, but the evidence against them is incredibly overwhelming. They were caught in a sting operation with recordings of their meetings and documentations of the money that they laundered. The DEA administrator Terrence C. Cole said the indictment of former special agent Paul Campo sends a powerful message. Those who betray the public trust, past or present, will be held to account the fullest extent of the law. But here's what the DEA administration isn't saying. Campo's 25-year-long career gave him knowledge, connections, and the credibility to offer valuable services to the cartel. His corruption didn't start when he retired. It was enabled by the position within the Obama administration's DEA. America, Paul Campo's indictment proves everything we've been saying about the Obama-era deep state corruption. While James Clapper was manufacturing fake intelligence about Russia to spy on Trump, Campo was rising through the DEA ranks to become deputy chief of financial operations, the perfect position to later help cartels launder money. This is the deep state that Tulsi Gabbard is systematically dismantling. Campo's case shows how deep state actors operate. They spend decades building credibility and connections within government, then use that position to betray American interests. He had access to the most sensitive financial intelligence, represented the DEA before Congress, and maintained security clearance even after retirement. The fact that he was caught trying to launder millions of dollars for a terrorist cartel while Tulsi is exposing Obama's fake intelligence operations is not a coincidence. It's all part of the same corrupt system that weaponized government against the American people. Tulsi has promised more declassification is coming, more accountability is coming, and more deep state actors will be exposed. Campo is just the beginning. Know what you think about it. As always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, Tyson Cruz, for another great upload. Yeah, you can't trust any of the previous administrations, and especially this one, because there's some bad actors that have infiltrated and they blend in really well. So, yeah, let's go ahead and go to the last video of the night, and that is reserved for our good friend Tyson de la Cruz. So let's go ahead and set this up, and let's watch.
Que no se muevan, no se muevan, no se
muevan,
muevan, no se muevan. Nadie. Rodeados.
America, the Department of Transportation
What
just
the
exposed a massive fraud scheme in the trucking industry that's putting untrained drivers behind the wheel of 80,000-pound death machines on our highways. Nearly half of all U.S. trucking schools, that's 7,000 schools, are about to lose their accreditation for falsifying training records, manipulating data, and issuing CDLs to people who have no business operating commercial vehicles. But here's where it gets even more disturbing. This fraud is directly connected to illegal immigration. And we're about to show you some body cam footage of what happens when DPS pulls over one of these fraudulent drivers. Texas troopers just found 23 illegal aliens stuffed inside a sleeper camper of an 18-wheeler driven by a man with, get this, no valid commercial license. This is what happens when we let fraud destroy safety standards.
That's crazy.
The Department of Transportation says nearly half of U.S. trucking schools may not be following federal safety requirements, raising big concerns.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. The trucking school fraud and the illegal immigration crisis just collided on a Texas highway. And what you're about to see is absolutely insane. Let me start with explaining the massive fraud that's been happening in the trucking industry, because this sets up everything that you're about to see.
3,000 U.S. trucking schools are about to lose their accreditation.
The Department of Transportation is shutting down 3,000 trucking schools immediately and putting another 4,000 on notice. That is 44% of all federally registered truck schools in America. These schools have been falsifying training data, not meeting curriculum standards, and issuing CDLs to people who never, ever received proper training. This, my friends, is systematic fraud designed to pump out as many CDL holders as possible without actually training them.
In recent months, devastating crashes involving big rigs have made headlines across the country.
This crackdown came after a series of devastating crashes involving big rigs, including a deadly pileup in Ontario, California, that killed 3 people, and a tragic collision in Florida when a trucker made an illegal U-turn. Homeland Security says these drivers lacked legal status in the United States, which triggered this nationwide review. Now, let me connect the dots between the trucking school fraud and illegal immigration, because this is where the story really gets disturbing.
Now in California, the state is revoking about 17,000 commercial licenses tied to drivers whose time in the U.S.
That's a lot of licenses.
At the same time, the federal government is sounding its own alarm, saying 44% of America's truck driving schools may not be following required safety training rules.
Homeland Security discovered that drivers involved in these deadly crashes lacked legal status in the United States, which raised questions about how they got CDLs in the first place.
Yeah, how did they get their license?
Already have. Another 4,500 are on the chopping block. And this includes 10 schools here in southern Arizona, half of which already lost their accreditation.
These border states have been particularly problematic because they're issuing CDLs to people who shouldn't even be in this country, let alone driving commercial vehicles.
It is not a one weekend, give us your money and we're going to give you a quick certificate.
With certain school certifications at risk of being revoked, they'd no longer be able to certify drivers, thus leading to a loss of students and likely less drivers.
Legitimate trucking schools require about
better drivers. There's a lot of young, dumb Philippine kids out there that need
certification
jobs.
Mills. Give us your money and we'll give you a certificate. No actual training required. This is how unqualified drivers, including illegal immigrants, are getting CDLs. Now, let me explain what this crackdown means for the American economy, because the consequences go far beyond just safety. With these schools closing, there will be a driver shortage that gets passed down to the consumer through higher prices. Nearly 2/3 of all shipping is done by trucks, and last year, truckers moved $13.5 trillion worth of goods. If there aren't enough qualified drivers to distribute products, we may see shortage on shelves and may see higher prices. This has a massive ripple effect throughout the entire economy. But here's what the experts aren't saying. We wouldn't have this problem if we would have been enforcing training standards all along, instead of letting fraudulent schools pump out unqualified drivers, many of whom are illegal immigrants who shouldn't even be here in the first place. Now, let me tell you about what Texas DPS just discovered that perfectly illustrates why this trucking school fraud is so dangerous. On
And the fact
November
that they're
28th,
driving
the
on
Texas
roads
DPS
like that.
trooper pulled over a white Freightliner truck on I-35.
I don't hear nobody
after
getting in
seeing it
trouble.
drive on an improved shoulder, a traffic violation that often signals an attempt to evade law enforcement or congestions. The driver was 24-year-old old John Ameo from Laredo, and he was operating a commercial vehicle, and get this, without a valid commercial driver's license. This is exactly the kind of unqualified driver that these fraudulent trucking schools have been creating. But when troopers inspected the cab with assistance from U.S. Border Patrol K-9 team, they discovered something absolutely insane. 23 illegal aliens crammed into the trucker's sleeper compartment, hidden behind the driver's area.
Right now. Right now, I'm going to San Antonio. You're gonna go pick something up? Yeah. Like a load? Yeah. You're a truck driver, like for what company? No, it's a private company. Private one. What are they called? You like a load? Yeah, that's okay. Do you have a CDL? I do, but like I said, I don't have a picture of it on me. Not right now. Okay. Right now you're alone. You're alone right now, right? Yeah, I'm alone. Okay. Could I see what you have in the vehicle? Do you give me permission? Is it required? It's not required. You don't have to. I mean, you have to. There's no reason you should be searching it. Okay. I mean, I'm asking your consent, but if you're gonna deny it, that's fine. But I'm gonna stand by here just for some other units to get here, and I'm gonna run a dog around the vehicle. Okay. But in terms of the violations, you don't have a CDL and you're operating a motor vehicle. You're not supposed to be driving a commercial motor vehicle. Okay. And who are you calling right now? I'm just curious. I'm calling my lawyer. Your lawyer? Yeah.
You already have the lawyer on speed now? What the hell?
All right. Can you just keep an eye on them? We're at detain you real quick, okay? If we don't find anything in the vehicle, we're gonna release you. Right now, we're gonna conduct a probable cause search on the vehicle right now, okay? Open it. I can't reach. Open it. Okay. Yeah.
¡Que no se muevan! ¡No se muevan!
¡No se muevan!
¡No se muevan!
Nadie.
¡Rodeados!
Get more
Oh, what we have here? Some illegal aliens. Reminds me of Men in Black. I would have thrown them back.
Ahorita vamos a sacar.
America, what you just watched is an inevitable result of allowing fraud to destroy our trucking industry's safety standards while ignoring illegal immigration. John Amaya was operating a commercial vehicle without a valid CDL, which is exactly what happens when fraudulent trucking schools issue certificates to unqualified drivers. He was smuggling 23 illegal aliens from Nicaragua, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and Mexico, using America's highways as a human trafficking corridor. This is why the Department of Transportation cracked down on 7,000 fraudulent trucking schools matters. These schools have been pumping out unqualified drivers who are now operating 80,000-pound vehicles on our highways, and many of them are also involved in human smuggling operations. Mr. Amaya now faces 23 counts of smuggling of persons. He's looking at a mandatory minimum 10-year prison sentence, but he's just one driver. There are thousands more out there who got their CDLs from fraudulent schools and are using commercial vehicles for criminal activity.
Yeah.
The combination of trucking, school fraud, and illegal immigration has created a perfect storm of danger on American highways. Unqualified drivers operating commercial vehicles while smuggling illegal immigrants is an absolute recipe for disaster. This is what happens when we ignore fraud and fail to enforce immigration laws. Criminals exploit every weakness in the system, and innocent Americans pay the price. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Upload. This here. Let's go ahead and bring it back to me. Yeah, I mean, illegals driving without license or permits is a no-no. For one, the biggest no-no is he knew those people was in his sleeping quarters. Why did he not say something up front and just be straight honest and say, yeah, there's people that they put in my cabin and they told me to stay shut, in fear for my life because they told me to drive. And, probably he would have gotten a lighter sentence. But this dude trafficking people. It's like, I remember the part from Men in Black. That part from Men in Black that he discovers the aliens. He's like, ooh, I would have thrown them back. Oh no. All right, guys, it's that time of the night where we got to say goodnight because it's already late and I'm getting tired as usual. So have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. And I'll catch y'all on the flip side. And I'll be back on tomorrow, probably the same time. Probably more different stories. I mean, that Candace Owens and Tim Poole, we'll see what happens with that. I just think everything is a distraction, and we're not paying attention to Three Eye Atlas, which is a big travesty to us because something from far, 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 far away, way before Earth, like, was even put together, we have an object coming through, and we're not even paying attention to it. That's wild. All right, guys. You guys have a good night, and thank you for stopping by and watching. And those who are rewatching, thank you. I appreciate you so much. With that said, good night. Peace.